Saskatchewan Championship Curling is brought to you by Viterra, SaskTel, Service Equipment, White Ice and Eastside Paint and Wallpaper, Jiffy Lube, CurlSask, and SaskTel Max.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Melfort, Saskatchewan. Beautiful weather outside. It's warmed up a few degrees today, and we're inside the Northern Lights Palace for the tiebreaker round of the 2018 Viterra Scotties Provincial Women's Curling Championship. My name is Sean Joyce. I'm with Susan Lang and Kim Hudson.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, curling fans.
Hello. Things are heating up in the building as well as outside. Here comes.
Well, we had 9 round-robin draws to determine some of the playoff seedings. We're going to need one more game to figure out that 4th place. We've got a tie. Robin Silvernagel leads the standings with a 7-1 record. She will be the #1 seed going into the Page playoff. Her lone loss during the round-robin came to Chantel Eberle. She comes in as #2. Sherry Anderson, by virtue of her wins over Stephanie Lawton and Penny Barker, gets the 3rd seed, and it is Lawton and Barker who will be playing in this tiebreaker game this afternoon to determine who goes into the Page playoff tonight. And just before we get underway here, let's take a moment to meet the teams in this afternoon's tiebreaker game.
Hi, I'm Penny Barker, skip of Team Barker. Our lead is Danielle Sosinski, 2nd Lorraine Schneider, 3rd Deanna Doig, Coach Murph Unger, and we curl out of the Moose Jaw Ford Curling Center in Moose Jaw.
Did you change this?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Lawton, skip of Team Lawton. Our lead is Brooklyn Lemon, 2nd is Christina Gertson, 3rd is Stephanie Schmidt, and we curl out of the Nutana Curling Club in Saskatoon.
These two teams met in the round robin way back on draw 4 Wednesday night. Penny Barker needed an extra end to pull out the win. Stephanie Lawton had an opportunity to draw for 2 in the 10th, slid just a little bit too deep and let that game get away. So we saw a tight one from them on Wednesday, expecting another tight one here.
Isn't that amazing how just one shot in the course of 8 games can have such a big impact? Stephanie makes that shot, wins that game, and we don't have a tiebreaker. Or Stephanie certainly herself isn't in a tiebreaker position. So it's just phenomenal how every shot out counts so much, even if it's early in the week.
Sure does. The other thing that we were talking about too is this is right where Penny Barker wants to be. I believe this was the same position she was in last year.
She's got everybody right where they want her. She's in a tiebreaker at 4-4.
Not eating out of the palm of her hand.
Good.
Shot by Brooklyn Lemon, nice controlled weight, keeps the shooter in play. Well, that's just it. It's, I was going to say, it's a long road still till tomorrow night's 5 o'clock championship final, but you can't sort of look that far down the road. It's just take this the classic, one game at a time, one end at a time.
Exactly. You know you have to win 4 games to wear those green jackets, but you're not even thinking that right now, that's for sure. One game at a time.
Well, we get a rollout here, and that may give Stephanie Lawton the opportunity. Well,
nope.
Thought she might look at a corner guard. We've seen her do that in the first end before after a rollout.
Yep.
I think, too, you draw on your experiences. So these teams out here, lots of Bonspiel experience. And there are lots of times that, to win that Bonspiel, you've had to reel off 5, 6, sometimes 7 straight wins in order to be there on championship day. So you draw on everything that you've built up as a team.
You sure do, but you have to say, Susan, Bonspiels are only money. Not quite the same amount of pressure as this.
You know, there's always one next weekend, isn't there? But just the stamina, the physical capabilities to keep the roll going here. All these little factors come into play so that, as you say, when the intensity ramps up and you're in do or die situations for playoffs, it's all good.
Yeah, that's true.
To that about stamina, though, Kim and I were talking to Bob Miller a little bit before the game. That's Stephanie's father, and he was saying the way this draw works out, to play 2 games a day on Saturday and Sunday, that stamina, that's really not a bad schedule at all. If you knew you were going to win, you might like this schedule.
Yeah, for sure, and we've talked about that before. You know, if you knew you were the team that was winning these games, you would have no problem playing in these games and playing in the semi and not sitting around and waiting and stay on the momentum that you have. You know, you've been playing 2 games a day. Let's keep on going with 2 games a day.
At least it's nice for the 1-2 game this evening. Both those teams have been sitting all day, and their first game of the day will be at 7. So at least it's equal for those 2.
Yep.
Maybe a bit of a disadvantage at Sherry Anderson that's waiting
sitting around
all day here today, seeing who her opposition will be.
That's true, but you know what? It's Sherry Anderson's birthday today, so she should have this day off, this game off.
Oh, I didn't think that's where you were going.
I'll be nice. I do have to say, though, I was talking to friends of Ricky Schick in the lobby earlier today, and we do know that Stephanie Lawton's team did have the illness earlier in the week with Stephanie Schmidt being out for 3 games and Ricky Schick coming in and playing, and it was all really good. Anyway, Ricky was thrilled, and not only that, you want to know another nice thing is those Hilberg and Berg earrings that are every player got. They gave a pair to Ricky. So what a fantastic experience for her, and nice to have the Lawton team all back together for this game.
Those 2 stones at the back were actually out of the rings, but forming a bit of a pocket. Penny Barker didn't like that, made a play on them, and managed to spin the shooter all the way across to the other side.
So
Changes the shot.
Gertson trying to keep her shooter in the back of the house there, but it rolled out. Penny just opting for a shot here, top 4 foot.
Yep. Wide open first end, get your sea legs.
We've said that about a few teams this week in the opening end. Do you think the fact that this is the first draw where it's only 1 game out there, does that make a difference? Do you want to see if that changes the ice conditions at all?
Yeah, that's true, and it probably will a little bit change the ice conditions, so that is something that these players will be aware of as well. And even just a different atmosphere out there when you're the only game out there.
It's coming right over. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay, it's good.
Brushers will bring that stone right into the top of the 8 foot.
Okay, just normal.
So now Stephanie Schmidt, who did miss a few games earlier in the week, back in the lineup now.
Well, Stephanie Schmidt, as we remember from that Moose Jaw Scotties, filled in on Stephanie Lott. She'd gone as the 5th player.
Right,
but when Sherry Singler had that awful sprain to her ankle, Steph got pulled into duty there. I think it was her first year back in Saskatchewan after coming back from Nova Scotia. So, again, that just builds resiliency and going, you know, with the flow and bouncing back from any sort of circumstances in front of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Out a little further. Slight run a little longer. Got room. You in? Danielle in. Here you go, top 4, top 4. You got it. Hard. Hard. Right in, right in, right in. You got it, you got it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Go, go,
Good.
go, go, go. Good sweep.
Good sweeping.
I guess the other thing that you may see the teams thinking about here is they're playing this more or less open first stand, and Deanna was happy to get the chance for the draw. There's no draw to the button to determine last rock for this game. That's predetermined by the seeding system in the tiebreaker scenarios. So the pregame practice, they still have that, but they probably threw a wider variety of shots for this game when they're not worried about making that draw to the button for last rock.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sean.
I know I saw a few hits being thrown in the practice session.
Yep.
That was a 10. Okay.
should have stick with the same weight.
But nice to figure that out with an open house and a rollout here. If you're going to say have a half shot, that's the time to do it.
Yep.
Not when you're looking at 3.
Exactly. Thinking back to Stephanie Schmidt, she missed those games because of an ear infection. That's a tough one. I think that affects your balance. That would be pretty difficult to come back from, but kudos to her. Back and playing.
And again, a very nice reassuring first end here when you've got an open draw, just to say get that weight locked in. But again, Penny's got to be in the rings here. She certainly doesn't want to put this one short and give Stephanie Lawton any opportunities whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. You hate to play the whole end clean and then drop one short and let Steph come around and make your next one a little more difficult.
Yep, so perfect weight there by Penny.
Nicely done. There you hear the appreciative crowd in the building. Got a nice crowd going into the weekend.
So for those longtime Stephanie Lawton fans, you certainly see a new team configuration out here. Gone Sherry Anderson with her own team, and we always saw Sherry Singler on this team, but she was playing third for Amber Holland this year. A lot of it has to do, all these women have young families and just wanted to scale their Bonspiel curling commitments back a little bit, but boy, oh boy, can you see glimmers of brilliance here. You can, as they're getting more and more of these games together.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? That's the thing about this field. You knew every one of these teams could play, and it was just a matter of who was going to turn it on and bring it this weekend.
Makes the nose hit, rolls it just to the top of the button. Penny Barker will have to make a play on that stone.
Stephanie Lawton last night had a world-class triple in order to have a last shot so that Candace Chisholm doesn't steal the game and the playoff spot.
Yeah, we talked about Penny Barker having everybody right where she wants them, but it's actually Stephanie Lawton that kind of is taking the path that Penny Barker took last year. She was in a must-win game with her last one, needed help, even at that, to get into this tiebreaker. Picked up the win herself, got the help she needed, and now here she is.
Yep, that's right.
Penny Barker with the open hit, hoping to stick, at least force the blank rollout. I was trying to think though, like for all the times I've watched Stephanie in provincial playdowns, if she's ever had to come through a tiebreaker route. It seems like she's always been at the top or very near the top of the standings. So I didn't have a chance to talk to Stephanie to ask her if this was the first time she'd ever been this far back on a provincial playdown.
Yeah, not that I can remember.
Mind you, there are so many of them to try to remember. She's been a regular fixture on the circuit. Okay, so with a blank attempt.
I don't think it's going to take off on you, but...
They jumped the first one out of her hand, maybe a little bit inside. Now she's tightened up the broom here and looking for the rollout, so I'm expecting she's going to pick the weight up a little bit.
Yeah, she will for sure, and she throws that very accurately.
Yep.
And once again, they jump it right out of her hand.
Whoa, okay, we're good. Whoa, noses. Okay, good, Steph.
Looking for the blank, but she's going to get the nose hit and take a single point here. Penny Barker will take last rock into end number 2.
As Canada's grain industry leader, Viterra and its employees are connected to their communities across Western Canada. Through its community investment program, Viterra supports a wide variety of causes and initiatives, including those focused on sports and recreation that encourage teamwork, integrity, and high performance. These same values guide Viterra's employees when providing farm customers with trusted advice and quality service. Viterra is a proud sponsor of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
White Ice, the ice paint people, set out to develop a very specific ice paint product that would satisfy the needs of the professional ice maker in both hockey and curling. White Ice was successfully formulated and tested, and distribution began in 1988 and has since expanded their line of products and services to meet the needs of today's professional ice makers. White Ice is distributed by Eastside Paint and Wallpaper in Saskatoon, who is also a signature Benjamin Moore paint dealer. White Ice and Eastside Paint and Wallpaper, defining the game.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, all week long we've updated the scores coming back from the commercial. We can tell you right now there's 3 other scoreboards out there, but nothing to report.
Sean, you're never a loss for words. I'm sure you can come up with something.
Well, I am curious about that last shot. Stephanie Lawton made the hit on her first one. She might have been a little tight on it, but she didn't throw the first one quiet. She threw a good full normal and then tightened up the ice for the second, trying for the blank, and really it didn't sound like she gave that one much of a chance. And a little surprise there with her out turn. That's usually her bread and butter.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Penny Barker's team right now is saying, phew, mission accomplished. We got the hammer and we didn't even really have to go for it.
And they get now throw a corner guard without having to worry about anything on the top 4 foot after Brooklyn Lemon's rock here slides through the rings.
Yeah, exactly. So not a lot of pressure so far.
So what do you want to call that? Is that the Friday night mixed force?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right if you can. Just pass the Viterra sign if you can. Keep it moving. Line's okay. Line's good. Nice. Just a 2. A little further.
Bit of a long corner guard.
It's good.
Halfway.
You don't always mind the corner guards being just that little bit higher if you come around it and the other team wants to follow you. With last rock, you're pretty happy to play that whole end on the corner.
Well, we have seen big curl around the corners this weekend, so corner guard halfway, it is a bit of an obstacle, but there's been so much curl there that you're certainly able to chase around there and bump rocks back and take them out even.
The problem to having it higher is it can be in the way of your draw path, but I think that one's out wide enough that the draw path is still there for the in-turn towards the button.
There's a nice tight center by Brooklyn.
Danielle Sosinski now put the corner guard up with her first one, going to try to come around it here.
Gotta go! Go hard! 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 Get a piece, guys! Hard! Hard, hard, hard! Hard, 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 hard! Oh.
I don't think they got on sweep right away. It looked like Danielle was just a little bit
Top
full
8,
on that,
top 4.
and they were just waiting for it to catch the curl. But by that time,
Christina?
it's a bit too late.
Which one?
Yeah, 1.
Okay.
So they're discussing the rock numbers, and they were given choice of rocks. So they're just trying to figure out what number they're throwing. They all are obviously pretty sure what they do, and I think they think some curl a little more than others.
Yeah, curling. Curling hard. Hard for line. Curling real hard, guys. Hard for line. Get it by. Get it by. Get it by. Go.
No, we're rubbing. Good.
A little short.
That's fine. Good shot.
Nice line.
That top of the house area is starting to get very congested here in the second end. Penny Barker wants to clean this up a little bit.
Peel.
Yeah, a little cluttered.
Didn't see really her indicate which one they want to hit first. I'm sure she's got it in her own mind how she wants to hit this to try to spin out of that center line area as well.
Clean. Clean. Yes. Hard.
Lorraine Schneider makes the hit, comes across, does spin up a little bit and gets about a rock's width off the center line.
Nice shot. Stephanie wasting no time though.
like
She
this
says
way or
that'll
this
work
way?
as center guard as well.
Yeah, this way's fine.
Okay.
I like this way just in the sense that, if you draw through the port, take the other turn, and then you only get half buried, the other team taps you out, rolls in behind the corner guards, and now you're back on the defensive.
Stay
This
close
way, if
to
you only
line,
get
yeah.
half buried
Yeah.
and they're able to see half, at least they're rolling out
Gotta
to the
go
open
line.
if they make their shot.
Gotta go line.
Gotta go wait.
We're not there. Go in front of it? Yeah, we're in front. It's over curling already. Get it to center if you can, Steph. Go.
The ice and the weight seems to be fooling them a little bit.
Both teams having a little trouble finding the rings here in this second end.
I love with these. Peel.
And again, all those little things that really start to add up. Stephanie right on top of things, trying to get that curl set up that they can't run that yellow rock into anything that might potentially be on a button later in this end.
Roll it out. It's good.
Nice shot by Lorraine.
Makes the double peel, rolls her shooter out of play as well. Now just the 2 yellow corners left in play.
Okay. 15?
Yeah.
15%, yeah.
So it must be a little bit heavier, because if they're calling 15, so that's 15 seconds hog to hog here, and they expect that to stop short, then that's getting you more into that 14 and a half, 14 seconds for draw weight to the tee line, which is probably 3 feet heavier than what certainly the first draws of the day have been presenting.
We're top 4. Tee line.
Back.
Yeah. We can take
Looking
it
for the guard here, and this rock's going to slide in.
Like here's.
The concern here for the Lawton team is it's going to leave an opportunity to get underneath that corner guard deep enough that Penny Barker could opt to draw. Looks like she's going to play the hit, and with it being that deep, she'll try to roll open.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Kim, you had mentioned rock selection here, and I just had to look it up myself because I believe, and that's what I'm seeing here in the competitor's guide, that in the tiebreaker, they still have to play with the sheets that were on the assigned sheet.
Yes.
And because Stephanie Lawton had last rock here, it actually would have been Penny Barker's team that had selection of rock color.
Which probably made Stephanie Lawton very happy, because we know when we watched them at the start of the week, yellow rocks, sheet 3 here, they were switching rocks all over. She thought that there was really something, and then it was Amber Holland in the subsequent game with the yellow 7-8 that Amber thought that they were running differently. So I'm pretty sure that Steph was quite relieved to take red rocks. Not that she couldn't have managed the yellow, but, and they've had a chance on the red rocks too. So they've got these ones figured out also.
Clean. Yep. 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 Hard. Hard for the roll. Hard, Brooke. Go, 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 go. Christina.
Both teams at this point trying to roll away from those corner guards, knowing that if you roll behind the corner guards when you're that far behind the tee line, we're going to see a freeze attempt. But 2 more hits probably puts this in front of the tee line, and that'll change the thinking.
Yeah, it sure will.
A little more.
I was going to say it's a pretty firm weight throw for trying to get that little roll under the corner, but
She's trying to roll to the open side.
Yes, 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 yes.
And
Makes
keep your
the hit.
shooter. I still think that was pretty big weight than, more weight than what was expected.
Decision time for Stephanie Lawton. Definitely too late in the end to throw another guard.
You like that? Yep. Okay, top 8.
You know what? You go around, you can get the force this way too.
Yeah, I think in there.
I think you could do this, Steph.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And her hesitation would be what?
Well, you could also give up too.
Pretty slick here. Hey,
It's not without risk. You need to make this pretty precisely. You don't want to be behind the tee line, and you don't want to be short. You want to be just top 4, full 8.
I want to use you guys.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah. Do you want top 8?
Yeah, no more than that.
Okay. That sounds good. You got it.
Yeah, let's go.
Any concern here if you make this too good that Penny Barker might just try the run back on her own stone to see if she can get 2 that way?
She could, but as Susan was alluding to before, there's so much curl on this ice that I think you could probably access the stone even without, so, but we'll see where it goes.
Line's good. Silver.
But to Sean's point, sometimes just showing that little bit of a corner is better than being fully buried and only providing the one option. So that's exactly what Stephanie wanted. It still provides a long run back should Penny go for that option, but it's not.
Well,
Which it
She's
looks
not
like
going to
they're
be
just
buried
going
if she
to.
does that. So
Yep.
exactly,
Go
that's
up
the key.
inside.
The run back's not perfectly straight.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm thinking like that's why I say even board.
Hack weight.
well, and the nice part there on that shot by Stephanie Lawton, if Penny Barker does keep her shooter in play, she's wide open. So Steph will have an open shot on her next one. It'll either be another draw around there for the force there, or it'll be an open hit.
And the tolerance really changes on that next shot for Stephanie, whereas So we're just talking about half a round was good on this one. She wants the next one dead buried, even if it's in the back 12 foot, and force Penny Barker to take a single point.
Yep. Stay close. Yes! Yes! Hard! Hard!
Just got through by the guard.
Really nicely done by Penny. And as we talked at the start of the broadcast here, how the big curl off the center line has offered up those types of shots. You still have to be deadly accurate with your weight on that. And that was the key there to keep that shooter. But it's been great seeing the option and ability to call and make that shot.
With a big roll, it forces Stephanie Lawton, if she wants to force the single here, to roll probably, what would you say, 6 feet, maybe 7 feet to get behind cover. It's a long roll.
It's a long roll across the rings, that's for sure.
Little up.
Easy.
Little up. Nine. Nine. Yep.
Whoa.
Nine.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Brooke. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go, Brooke, go.
Makes the hit. Now can she jump it across? Brooklyn Lemon jumps on the sweep.
It's a dandy.
Gets just past the edge of the 4 foot. From that angle, doesn't look like Penny Barker can see very much.
And super sweeping by Brooklyn. She was right on that for the roll. And again, that's one of those hundreds of little things that you have to do as a team to have an advantage.
Interesting that she's going to,
14.5, 14.7.
instead of drawing to the button, she's going to draw to the corner of the 4 foot to take her 1 point.
14.7.
Maybe staying in the draw path, though, that we've seen a couple of others.
Yeah. 14.7 are the same numbers that we've heard, though.
Let's just take the wide path that we were using.
There we go. That's more the
A little more common.
Yeah. Yeah, 15.
Okay,
Okay, so
sweeper's a fighting chance, so that you're not sweeping for line and over and missing your, curling past your 8 foot target.
Penny Barker trailing by 1. This is her final stone here in the second end. Needs a bite of the 4 foot to tie the game.
Front and out there, lots of rotation.
Line's good. This is going to be all up to the brushers and the weight. They're backing away a little bit.
It's just running. It's running. Just running.
Coming into that 4 foot area. It's going to have to slow down.
Good job, Pen.
Comes to rest, just biting the back of the 4 foot, but stops in time for the single point. We're all tied up after 2 ends. Stephanie Lawton will have last rock in the third.
All right, people, let's get to work. Lights off.
Ma'am, there's someone at the door. Unknown male, might be a salesman.
Take care of it. You, drop the temperature. I'm roasting.
Ma'am, you're straightening iron. Shall I pull the plug?
Yes. While you're at it, leave room for milk.
Introducing the all-new heated cab for the John Deere 1R tractor. Simply captivating.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, 2 relatively open ends, although there were a few more rocks in play in that second. 2 forces ends up with a 1-all score. We're right back where we started, but just 8 ends left to determine which of these 2 teams will move on to the Page playoff game tonight.
Well, maybe got some shakes out of the way here early. We didn't see a lot of great draw weight there in that second end, so certainly an improvement on both teams here. Needed to tighten that aspect of the game up here and start putting more pressure on each opposition.
An absolutely fantastic hit and roll for Stephanie Lawton on her last one to get the force, though. That was those long rolls are never easy when you're trying to get behind cover.
Well, and especially coming across it, too.
Yes.
I like this
Because you have to wait, and then make the sweep call versus trying to control the line coming into it with your sweep.
But had to throw fairly big weight, too. It's hard to make a roll that long with just the quiet weight that they can control with the brushers. You're trying to roll 6 or 7 feet. Really well done, and it gets her last rock back here.
Yep.
First stone slid into the back 4 foot, so they're going to play a hit on it.
Still,
that's good.
Good one, Brooke.
Nice shot by Brooklyn.
9-5.
And this is the longest that we have seen with any of the games all week, where teams are still playing a little bit close to the vest, a little tight, a little open.
That's right, because that was a nice opportunity for Lawton to have thrown a corner guard with that rock going into the back 4 foot.
Okay,
Is that the nerves, Susan, do you think? Or nerves, probably not the right word. These are two veteran teams, perhaps just the significance of this game and that they're willing to keep it close for a long time and try to decide this in the last few ends.
Well, and it could be part of a game plan, too. We all know Penny's had a lot of rocks in play and made some big shots to capitalize on the situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if Steph has decided to call it a bit more conservative and keep Barker's team away from those big draws that they've been making this week.
Good one, Brooke.
Hit made there, and they rolled that just a little bit away from the center line.
And we all know, certainly, especially when Steph was starting out her women's career there, she was very much more on the defensive and learned to get on the offensive. So I think just staying within a comfort zone and say it's still a brand new team. What they started this Bonspiel or this set of playdowns with only 26 games. So that's still not very many games that they've played. So I think just keeping it simple, keep yourself in this game and wait for a really good opportunity is probably what they decided to do ahead of time.
The Barker team would like to keep the play close to the center line, so they roll that back into the corner of the button.
Bit less than Brooke.
Okay, easy. Whoa,
Christina Gertzen now will try to roll back to the corner.
Got it, Curl.
We hanging around?
No. Okay, that's fine.
Does make the hit, but rolls it out of the rings.
And Christina, very familiar with the championship run here. She was on the second place team last year, curling with Robin Silvernagel when they did lose this final to Penny Barker. So probably looking for just a little bit of personal redemption here and knocking off the Barker team, returning the favor from last year.
Gives Lorraine Schneider a chance to play the draw here.
Where are we?
3.
Okay. Okay.
While we watch this rock come into place, I see that Kim Hodson has got the ice maker Wayne Cubbin at ice level, and we're going to get to talk to Wayne a little bit. Kim?
Hi, Wayne. You've got to be pretty happy with what you guys have done this weekend. Fantastic conditions. How about your opinion on it all?
Actually, it's been pretty good. You know, the thing that really helped us is that the local arena staff and the committee leveled this ice before we got here, and it really made my job a lot easier. So it's been nice and flat the whole tournament so far.
Yeah, well, kudos to you guys. The ice has been fantastic. Any concerns going into the weekend with the temperature changes and just the one game going?
No, usually like the outside temperature, unless we get a little bit of frost or something coming in. But as far as temperature on the ice, I just don't make it quite so cold, so we get the same kind of reaction out of it as I would during the week when it's full of teams. So.
Yeah, and North Battleford was okay to let you come this weekend or this week?
Well, actually, I don't do the ice at the arena or the rink anymore. I just do arenas, so yeah, no problem.
All good then. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've heard nothing but good things, so the ice has been fantastic. Kudos to you guys. Sorry, Sean.
Wayne brought these rocks out, didn't he? Where did they come from?
Actually, the local rink here had bought new rocks. They're K's rocks that they had purchased from Hans and Hans Withrich, and unfortunately their rocks got tied up in customs. So we just got a hold of Hans, and these are the K's demo rocks. Same thing as the rink was supposed to get, but we ended up using these. So we used them last year at the Provincial Ladies also.
So the players are familiar with the rocks and seems to be working out just fine. I see we have another open end here too.
hit and roll back to the middle. The two teams just continuing to exchange stones here.
9-5.
Wayne, how many events do you have on your schedule for making ice then this year when you're just doing the arenas?
I do some of the Grand Slam of curling, so I help Mark Shirk do those. And I was in Lloydminster already, and next week actually I go to Camrose. So I'm only home for 3 days, and then the Winter Games in North Battleford, I'm doing those too.
And how long does it take you to turn this from a hockey rink into a curling rink?
You know, the fastest we've ever done one is about a day and a half, but that's working 24 hours a day. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, usually, you know, we started this on Thursday evening of last week, and by Monday afternoon we were ready to go already. So, you know, a few days.
That is amazing. So another question, which I'm sure isn't your responsibility, how fast to go the other way around? How quickly is this turned back into a hockey rink when it all ends tomorrow?
Well, it doesn't take very long because we just roll the carpets up and the foam that's around the outside of the sheets comes out fairly quickly, about 15 minutes, and it'll be gone. And then they just use the Zamboni actually, and they cut the ice back down. The hockey ice is underneath of this. So they'll cut it down to where the logos are, and then they'll peel the logos because they're a mesh and they can't put those through the Zamboni. And they'll take those out, and then they just keep cutting on it until they get down to the hockey ice again. So, I don't know, 10 hours, it'll probably be back to hockey ice.
A whole lot faster.
15.
Oh, yeah. Quicker to take it out than it is to put it in.
When you get to come to an event like this, Wayne, do you really get time to see any of the curling, or are you too busy in between the draws?
No, we get to watch. My biggest thing when I'm watching the games is just I mostly watch the ice. I don't watch the games so much. I just want to make sure nothing's changing on the ice. And between, you know, when we scrape it, the biggest thing is that I watch the blade. And the blade will tell you if your ice is changing, but also watching the visual of the rocks coming down the sheet, and it'll tell me also if there's something going on. So
I think I've even seen the odd ice maker with a stopwatch out there to make sure the draw weight stays the same. Are you quite that bad about it, or?
You know, I know these rocks, so as long as I keep the temperatures where I know they run at about 25-second draw weight, I don't worry about the draw weight on them too much because I know where it's going to be.
And it has been the same all week.
Exactly what I was just going to say. Very consistent.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it depends on how many people are in this building and how hard I got to cool the ice off and keep it there. But, you know, I keep track every time we do something, or if I change the plant in the plant room, I track everything so I know from one day to the next where I went, what the end results were. So then I can adjust as we go along. So, you know, the practice day when they first start curling, that's kind of practice day for me also. So I get to learn the building a little bit more and what happens when the players are out here. So once I get past that, usually I've got them under control.
Stephanie Lawton with the rollout on her first stone. Just 2 stones left to come. Penny Barker will try to put a stone in the rings here, and then Stephanie Lawton a chance to blank the same as she did in the first.
Well, I know it's a huge science, and we certainly appreciate all that you do. You guys have been fantastic, and once again, kudos to the ice makers because this has been an absolute treat.
And Wayne, thanks for taking a moment to talk with us.
Hey, no problem. And I just want to say that the crew that we've had helping from Melfort here has just been awesome. So, you know, if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't be able to do this either. I can't do it by myself. So, you know, I just want to thank those guys because they've been here long hours. They've been following me around for a week and a half already. So,
all right. Well, thanks again, Wayne. And continued good luck as the weekend progresses. Still 3 more draws for you.
No rest for the weary. Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks a lot.
Well, and just to pick up on what Wayne said, I was chatting with one of the volunteers downstairs. I was filling up my water bottle, and that was his job, actually, was to make sure that all the water containers for the athletes and officials were always full. And he had said he had participated in the rink setup, getting the ice level and the sealants in and the logos all down. And he's just a local curler here, not normally involved with ice making. He said he could not believe how much work it takes several people in order to transition the hockey rink into curling rink. It was a real eye-opener for him.
Well, with the slide through from Penny Barker, it gives Stephanie Lawton the opportunity to just throw this through for the blank. Nothing in play. And with that, Stephanie Lawton will keep last rock in the tie game going into the fourth end.
Good stuff.
Totally my first time. I'm very excited. Don't worry, you're gonna have a great time. We're gonna go to practice and then we're gonna actually play games. Really? Yeah. Awesome.
Not better. Yeah. Could be better.
Want to try it and have some fun? Hurry hard to your local curling center or visit CurlSask.ca to find a curling center near you.
Winter's just around the corner, so drop into Jiffy Lube for your winter oil change. No appointment necessary. Jiffy Lube. Be wise, winterize.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we've got 3 ends in the books in this tiebreaker game. Stephanie Lawton, Penny Barker tied up at 1. Lawton still with last rock here as we begin end number 4, and we have a few colorful spectators in the crowd, let's say.
Okay. Get it nice and tight as you can.
And we see the first center guard thrown to start an end.
I don't know. You want to
And
come
now we'll
here?
see Stephanie Lawton play the corner guard. And I was just wondering in the break, Susan Kim, we saw Stephanie Lawton had last rock in the first end. So when it comes in, she's willing to play an open end. It didn't work out for her for the blank. She did the same thing in the third, but those are the odd ends. This is her first chance with last rock and even end. And we've talked about it earlier in the week about how teams will try to manipulate the situation to have last rock in those even ends. Well, she initially indicated the corner guard. They're coming around now.
I do need back 8 then if it is back, though.
We're all there.
Looks to be a little deep though, but after some wide open ends, looks like we're going to have some rocks in play here. Good chance now for the Barker team to beat them to in front of the tee line.
That's about 3 out of 4 shots where Brooklyn's been heavy on that first one, so I'm just wondering if there's not a little discrepancy in her weight or if it's just a little extra adrenaline kicking out of the hack on her first one. But she's been so precise all week. She's had an outstanding week at Leeds. This is a little surprising to me.
We know they're not throwing the rock straight up because it was Christina Gertzen's stone 2 ends ago that they asked which one she was throwing, and she was throwing the 1, which normally would be the first stone. So they've changed the order of the stones a little bit at least. A rub on the guard coming by just gets a piece of the 12-foot.
Control. Okay, just control, I think.
Hey, let's go, Brooke.
So not a very large target on this rock to attempt to keep both your shooter and get it cleared past that back 8-foot. So Brooklyn needs a very exact shot here to accomplish both objectives.
Bit firm, Steph.
Clean it. Yep. Yes. Hard. Hard. Quick. Steph, you gotta roll. Go, go, go.
Just gets by the guard, makes the hit. Not thin enough to pass it by their own stone, though. It will jam. Does spill out into the open.
That was 10, hey?
Right around.
Boy, just wonder if she would have been better off to have feathered ticked and moved the center line one a little bit. At least would have saved the jam.
Penny's ran real nice.
I don't think she loved her own stone at the back like that, but she would have liked to roll away from that center line. That's the real key. Lorraine Schneider, if she can pull one around here, the Barker team can start to put some pressure on.
Yeah, line.
Line only.
You gotta go line. Where are we?
We need a tick. We need a tick.
Okay, well,
need a
we don't
tick.
have anything.
We're through. Through on its own.
Come on over. Okay. So 13. Okay.
Well, we saw a number of draws in that spot short in the
Alright.
second end. Lorraine Schneider slides through the back.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. That as well. I don't mind that. I don't mind
That gives
it.
Stephanie Lawton a chance to move that center guard. Might be able to get both of them.
No, that's
Yep.
pretty thin.
Okay.
To do that. If anything, you can get that guy.
Yeah, I like that, Steph. Do you want me to throw like a 10 here?
Yeah.
If we roll
Sure.
off, you're killing our guard. And then you're losing.
So she doesn't need big heel weight here to make the double and keep her shooter here. And that's sort of been one of the lessons that we've learned here too. We've seen a lot of doubles, and 2 and 3 rocks move just nice, easy weight. Like you don't always have to throw big weight in order to make these doubles when you get lively houses and lively rocks.
Yeah, and key is they want to stick around for a corner guard. So.
This is really curling. She was looking to hit this on the other side.
Uh-huh. Well, got a corner guard on this side.
Probably covers that stone in the rings, but with that one being that far back, Stephanie might not mind that. She's got a corner guard and a rock to freeze to.
Yep.
It's a little flop.
If we roll, Penny?
Pardon?
Are
No,
we
we're
if
not
we
in.
roll?
What'd you say? Sorry? Just roll in on the other side of the line. Just a 10.
So just changing the color of this rock in the control zone, just changing it to yellow, rolling a little closer to center.
That's right, because that is
Might be a hair
potentially
for
so
her first.
splittable
Roll then.
for sitting second and third shot that it's quite dangerous for lots of
Go,
reasons.
go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Much as you can.
Sweeping to
Hard,
try to
hard,
get some
hard,
curl now. She's very thin on this first one.
Get out.
Catches a piece of it. Will it be enough to push it through the rings? Yes. And does hit the divider, so it comes out of play.
Okay.
That's okay, right? I think it's
And here comes the use of the corner.
let's get there. We'll give it to you guys.
A little bit for line.
Okay, yep. Line only! Only if you
Yes.
want to go a bit.
Still on
Wanna go
Christina's
right. Wanna go
shot,
right.
so second rock of the second.
How much?
Wait, close. Drop 8.
We're rubbing.
Coming down.
We're rubbing.
Go slow.
We're rubbing. Okay. Big on this one, Steph. Oh.
Well, draw weight continues to be a bit of a struggle for both teams here.
That's right, that was probably a good 4 feet short of what they were looking for. And that was with quite a bit of hard sweep.
7, I think. Yeah, just dig in a little. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you're standing there as a skip, you're standing there Steph Lawton going, I finally got the broom in the right spot. Had the line figured out for that one and just didn't get the weight executed.
Line only. Line only right now.
Stay close.
It's coming down. Coming down. Yes. Gotta go. Yes. Waist close. Line only.
Line only.
Line only.
Just top 8.
We're deep.
Where?
Deep.
T-line.
We're back T. We're even
Slowing
to the,
down,
we're to the
slowing
yellow
down.
even.
Stay a little open.
Okay. Good shot.
Hair deep.
Comes
That one's
just
back
behind the T-line. It is dead buried, but
I don't mind it.
it'll give Stephanie Schmidt the chance to follow it down and sit for shot rock behind cover.
I did, but let's make this T-line. Yeah, let's think it. You got it.
Wait's good, T-line. Okay, whoa.
We're to it.
Got to curl a lot.
Yeah, we're behind it.
No.
Back 4.
It's trying, but.
Back
we're not.
8.
We're
We're
through.
back. Yeah, we're.
Oh, Steph.
I need some of their weight.
Bit of an overthrow there. Just looking for plain old draw weight, T-line. And
But not just the thrower, I would say, struggling with the weight. We heard quite the variety of weight calls from the brushers on that one as well.
Just a bite is great.
Everything from T-line to
Top 8
eventually
at
saying
most.
it was just through.
yeah.
The struggles continue.
Yeah, we haven't had any conversations, like I haven't heard anybody talk about their short time intervals. Like usually those rocks are timed back line to hog line, and You sort of know if you're throwing a 3.8 or a 3.9 type of thing, but I haven't heard any of those comments here to see if they feel like they're throwing to their short interval targets.
Here it comes.
Not all teams use that concept, but
Danielle, you got to finish it. Yep.
sometimes that's a way to
Just gotta
check
finish
to
Pete.
see if
Yep,
you are
yep,
throwing
yep.
them the same and getting two completely different results.
Okay, Good.
There's a good shot.
Better weight on this stone, but it took forever to come across that center line, and
Did
comes
a
to
little
rest.
open,
I
but
think it's still open.
there you go. Open enough that they can make a play on that and make
think just
contact
the
on the
two
one on
here.
the back. Yep.
What kind of weight?
Firm.
Okay, just
We have to get close to the nose here, just a hair eye.
You could probably play this across the top and try to get the triple, but you'd lose your shooter. Right now, if she can make the double, her shooter's going to roll over a little bit. You could probably shot rock and force
No.
Penny Barker to make
No.
a play on it.
No. Got it, curl.
Close.
Play the triple
Really
as plan
strong
B.
weight here also.
Yeah, other way. Whoa.
Got all three of them moving. And it spins a little at the end. Not sure if it rolled out of the rings or not.
Well,
For the time being, it's Penny Barker sitting shot rock, the back corner of the button. It's open now.
And with second shot for Stephanie Lawton sitting there,
actually perfect would
too
just be,
dangerous
like,
for
edge to edge.
Penny to guard that rock that's on the back
I like
button.
coming. No, that one curls a lot.
How big of a roll do you need, Penny?
Just a foot and a half.
Okay.
I guess we've watched a few. They run fairly true.
Not looking to roll dead buried here. She'd like to Christmas tree them, as we call it. She'd like to get a piece behind the guard and use a piece of her shooter here to guard shot stone. One more look at this stone coming in. She had room by the guard. Almost double jam those. Had enough of a spin on that stone to get right to the edge. It's hard to tell if that rock's biting or
Just
not.
a little under.
Yeah,
May
can't
not
tell
matter.
from our camera angles.
And a half. Half covering both angles.
But at least for the short term, Stephanie Schmidt did get all
A
three
little
rocks
less.
out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, one's gone, one's, we're not
Yep.
sure if it's in or not, but nothing's buried right now.
9-5.
Yep. Go. Lorraine, go. Go, go. Go, 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 go.
You see the Barker team use this aggressive sweep to try to create extra curl. Probably more than the other teams.
Yeah, they really were one of the teams here this weekend that used that sweep more than others.
Thinking that
No.
yellow might be in because Penny had said don't hit it,
touch
don't hit it.
Yeah. Certainly
This is a bit more ice than the girls, I think.
gives the Lawton team a bit of a break and gets them off the hook. They can get the
Let's go, Steph.
the roll here now, although it will be behind the tee line and not ideal. But much better than looking at three.
Buried.
Mm-hmm.
I like control weight here. This is
You
what
could
you guys
roll
look
behind
for,
the
and
second
it
of those
moves.
two, and then it won't matter that it's
Be
behind the
right.
tee line.
Yeah.
You'd never get over to it with the draw
We might
anyway.
even move a little
Yeah.
more over this line too. So be ready. We have some room to roll those.
Okay, yeah. You got it. Right up.
Easy. Whoa, whoa,
Where's
whoa, whoa,
weight?
whoa.
Okay, we're
Up for now.
Whoa!
Close. Close.
Okay, just stick a nose. Yeah.
They're looking to make this curl as well, but it will hit just a shade on the broom side. Stays right there.
Like it'll come up nice. So I can just.
I just love how Steph knows her own throw so well.
a
You know,
10?
she said, well, as soon as she let go, she knew what she had done to it. And it was
Yeah.
just a tiny bit off of
Yeah.
what she wanted, but again, that's another skill set that you try to build so that you can at least let your sweepers and line caller know what
10
you've
and
done to
roll
the
under.
stone.
Okay, you got it, Penny.
So Penny looking for the roll here now, so they can force Stephanie to make a draw for her 1 point.
Well, that's right. Well, with the draw weights that we've seen all over, this might be your stronger option instead of letting Stephanie
Yeah.
have an open hit against two.
I don't know that the ice has changed that much though.
10.
Just put some questions out there.
This is a little bit less weight than what Stephanie threw.
Looking for the roll, makes the hit, and does roll over behind those two red corner guards. Stephanie Lawton will have to draw.
Okay. All right, let's go, Steph.
Needs a bite of the forefoot. Her point in this even end.
Should be that same like 15 here,
Yeah,
hey?
that's what we were thinking.
Okay.
There you go. Still thinking
Full
it's
four.
the same.
Thinking that
15.
15 here
I think
too?
so.
I think it's up to snuff. Yeah. Okay. We'll let you know if it starts moving because that might come down on you a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 foot.
Yeah, you got it.
T-line weight.
Right up.
Yeah. I don't think you should touch it.
It's all there.
Well, Stephanie Lawton needs a
Stay
piece
close.
of forefoot here, and
Looks like
Line
it's
she
shot.
thought she was warm
Moving
early.
a
The
bit.
brushers didn't want to touch it,
Not
but
going
they're
hard.
cleaning now.
Just moving nice.
Looks great.
T-line, guys. T-line.
14-2, so it's strong. Good, Steph. Good.
14-2, no sweep will also work.
Pulls it right into that button area, picks up her single point. Stephanie Lawton now with a 2-1 lead. Penny Barker will have last rock in the 5th.
Take your Share More plan with you and enjoy worry-free data in the U.S. The all-new Share More Canada and U.S. plan, now available from SaskTel.
When you need to hurry, you can count on Team Jiffy Lube. With fast, warranty-approved service while you wait. Jiffy Lube, your oil change experts.
Welcome back, everyone. We do have quite a full house here for this afternoon's draw, and with the 2-page playoff games tonight, expecting perhaps a few more people as well.
Yeah, there's been some great support here all week long. Lots of fans in the building.
And good for the club here in Melfort and the local organizers. Happy to see their efforts getting rewarded. Stephanie Lawton with a single point in the 4th end has taken a 2-1 lead.
Right here, guys. Get it as tight as it
Penny
goes.
Barker will have last rock here in the 5th.
Here's the call of the center guard, so we're going to have some rocks in play.
That's fine. Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the money from this event is going back to the Melfort Curling Club, and I heard last night the curling club was rocking. I heard they had quite a good party over there at their cabaret, which will happen again tonight, I guess.
Hard line. Hard line. Hard line. Whoa, whoa. Deanna, go. No.
Stephanie Lawton appeared in the last and a little more willing to play in the 4th. She wanted to manipulate the situation to get last rock in those even ends, so not as willing to throw this rock into the rings here. She played the center guard. She doesn't want to let Penny Barker have the blank here, but with that rock being tapped up into the button area, she may already be thinking about a possible steal.
For sure.
Well, you certainly want to keep your opposition back on the field, and a nice guard here forces Penny to get onto that defensive mode and make sure she doesn't get into serious trouble early here in this end.
Want to go to get it over.
Okay, go then.
Hard. Come on, Brooke.
Over and roll. Go, 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 go. And off.
Some good sweeping.
It's really high. Let's do this.
Okay.
Bit of
I
an
like
over
hack.
curl. It's a long guard, and I'm sure you can see a good half. So playing the one on the button.
Well, and I think the average Barker game, average rocks in play per end, we see about 12 rocks per sheet. They have had no fear of putting rocks in play and playing with opposition stones and using them. And this has been a little unusual for the team so far.
I was going to go with about 18. 18 rocks per end.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
The benefit, though, for Penny is she has run into some time clock issues playing with so many rocks in every end that right about now this is the furthest ahead on time clock. At this stage she has been all week, so probably a little, that helps a little bit with the pressure.
They were looking to roll away there with that quiet weight. They get a little finish and get the nose hit.
Does make me wonder if that was a conscious decision. Maybe something Coach Merv had to say, that they need to play a little bit and bank some time.
I think his hair was that color before we started the competition, but I think it's gone another shade watching that time clock in some of these games.
This stone's going to have to curl quite a bit. Catches a piece of that yellow one. Stephanie Lawton ready at the tee line to brush that out the back. So now just the two guards in play. They're both on that center line. I've got to think Penny's going to look to clean things up.
Yep, she
try to get them both. Sit for a corner.
Let's carry on the theme, though, of being aggressive in those even ends when you've got last rock. Do you think any thought she might come around if this was the 6th instead of the 5th?
Or the 8th end?
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Looking to get both guards moving.
Just like that.
Shooter stays for a wide corner guard. It's very high as well, but she gets a bit of a mistake out of the Lawton team somewhere in this end. She may try to use that to generate a deuce.
Lines and
wait, nice. This one comes
lines okay. Two on its own. Okay. It's gonna start curling soon.
3.
Here goes.
3.
Okay.
4.
That's okay.
And we see this rock coming into the rings.
Good. 15-3.
Okay. 9-5. Yeah. Okay.
So Lorraine Schneider's going to look to make the hit on this. I didn't see an indication whether they're going to try to roll over towards that corner guard. Susan, did you happen to notice?
No, I didn't see what the signal was.
Okay. It's your nose. That's you. Sorry, 9-2.
Sounded like they may have been trying real hard to get buried on that stone in behind cover, but even if you get close to it, it forces the Lawton team to play from that inside out. It certainly has appeared that their preference is to hit from the outside in.
Yep. Hard!
We're on the brush on this one right away.
Speed up, Christina. Hard to the nose. Yep. Good. Good speed. Good shot.
Does make the nose hit. They want to keep the play away from that corner guard. And yes,
10.
Penny has indicated they want to try to get that long roll in behind.
Little over half.
Deanna Doig now. Tough roll she's looking for here. Not only is it 6 feet, but you're trying to stop it really on a dime to be still in the rings behind cover. Over curls just a little bit, and she'll get the nose hit.
Nose is fine.
Yeah, just double checking. She still has rings when she comes to the nose, but should get a bite with dead on hit here.
You got it, Steph. Right up. Straight up.
And the bonus for Stephanie Lawton here, if she can nose hit this, Penny Barker probably can't nose hit it again. Well, wouldn't be able to nose hit it for sure, but I don't know that she can roll into the rings off this either.
Okay, easy. Queen.
Definitely has more line on this. They want to get right on the nose.
Yep. Good. Nice
Takes
shot.
the hit, rolls a few inches to the outside.
Yay. Try it.
Deanna will have to roll to make rings now.
Throw 9-5.
And it does make that roll behind the corner just that little bit longer as well.
9-5. Stay close. Oh, Lorraine. Clean. Just clean. Yep, little. Heart roll.
Keeping off and on. They're close. It's a long roll. Makes the contact. Two brushers jump on to try to jump this across.
Sorry. Really close.
Gets a long roll, but still just fully open. Well, maybe a little bit of air.
Sorry.
And Stephanie Lawton looking at maybe trying to flop underneath that corner and see if she can get a force that way.
I would say this. I was just lighter. Let's try there. Like just a 10.
Yeah. What are you doing? Pardon? Hit and roll? Yeah. Just cross it a hair. Are you throwing 9-5?
I like 10.
10? Okay.
This is where I threw my through and it didn't move a whole bunch there. So.
That sounds good. I like 10. Yeah. Wait, you throwing stuff?
10.
Throw through Stephanie Lawton talking about her shot to blank the end in the third. That's probably the only inside-out hit attempt they've thrown, and that's exactly why she did it, in case she needed to play it later in the game.
Easy.
Weight's pretty good.
Close.
Yep. 10. Yep.
Always learning on every shot, even if it's a miss, there's still always something you can take away from it.
Whoa.
Well, they were on the sweep on this one early, but seem to have straightened up a little bit on them. They get the nose hit.
Sorry, guys.
I think just a 10. Okay.
So Penny Barker's going to look to make the hit and roll. It's hard to tell. You bring her shooter up another rocks width if she makes the roll in behind cover. I don't know if she'll have any rings left.
10. Try to roll under. Just a little flat.
Absolutely critical that she stays for a bite here. She rolls just off the edge of the rings, and you'll see Stephanie Lawton try to pull one around here and get the force. If she can bury it for a biter, could still pick up her deuce here.
9-5. Close.
Nothing out of the brush early, now trying to get some extra curl out of it. Makes the hit, rolls a few inches back towards the center line, and Stephanie Lawton will have another chance to try to get that roll behind the corner and see if she can force a single.
But now she gets to change turns here.
She's got a little bit more room. She's got room to play that out turn.
And a little bit straighter, and so she comes out right on target here. Chance for the sweepers to control that line and get the roll versus, you know, it's always so hard to call that line accurately on the big curl.
A 9-8. So it was close to a 10. Try to get the roll the other way.
Yeah. All right, straight up. You got it, Steph. Little left.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Gotta go.
They're on the sweep on this one right away.
Hard break. Hard break. Go, Christine.
Stephanie Lawton looking for the roll behind cover, makes the hit, gets a bit of a roll. Not sure if she got it all the way in behind cover, but she's definitely at the edge of that guard. And that's about the third out-turn hit for Stephanie Lawton in that particular, almost that exact same path that we've seen them have to jump it right out of her hand.
Okay, 9-5.
Maybe having a little trouble with that particular spot in her delivery.
But what you've just done is force a 10-foot rollout on this blank attempt here. Long ways to roll through that rings to lose your shooter.
Well, they were on the sweep right away on this one. Her first one, they had to wait on it. I think I hear an which maybe means this is going to be a little bit thick. Makes the hit, rolls into the 8-foot, and will have to take her single point here in the second end. We're all tied up after 5 ends of play. Stephanie Lawton will have last rock in the 6th.
Is it okay? Wait.
Kim Hudson has made her way down to ice level. We're going to see if we can grab a word with defending champion Penny Barker. Kim?
I do. I have Penny right here. Penny, you came through the tiebreaker last year. This is right where you want to be, isn't it?
Well, I guess we'll just take the long road again. Yeah, I guess it's nice to know what it takes to go through this route, having done it last year. We had to regroup after last night's game because we could have been the 1-2 tonight, but it's all right. We'll just learn the ice a little better with a couple more games under our belt.
Exactly. Turn it into a positive for sure. Very wide open game so far. Is that a surprise, or did you come into that with a game plan?
I think we don't want to push the envelope too much until we feel pretty comfortable out there. We do. I figured we'd have a little bit more going on by now, but everybody's making some really good shots. Some nice come-arounds and some nice draws to get out of the end. So it's not as though there's nothing going on. It's just a little bit more wide open than we usually play.
Penny, hi, it's Susan here. Just a quick question, if I may. Time clocks, you've noticed you've had a couple of close calls on the time clock this year.
Ask you a question.
Yes. Hi, Penny. Kim, could you ask a time clock question?
I will. I will. Thank you, Susan. Penny can't hear what the question was. I'm the only one that has it, so she's looking at me a little confused. Susan wants to know about the time clock. She said you've had time clock issues a little bit along the way. Has the open been part of the time clock issue?
That was definitely part of it. I think last night's game we got ourselves into some trouble and kind of lost that flow of the game when you just can't sit back and really make sure that that's the ice, that's the call, that's everything going on. And so give us a couple extra minutes going into the back half of the game is only going to help our ability to focus for those last 5, which is huge.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like you've got lots of time this time. So good luck. Much success. Thank you.
Saskatchewan Championship Curling is brought to you by Viterra, SaskTel, Service Equipment, White Ice and Eastside Paint and Wallpaper, Jiffy Lube, CurlSask, and SaskTel Mats.
Winter's just around the corner, so drop into Jiffy Lube for your winter oil change. No appointment necessary. Jiffy Lube. Be wise, winterize. When you need to hurry, you can count on Team Jiffy Lube. With fast, warranty-approved service while you wait. Jiffy Lube, your oil change experts.
As Canada's grain industry leader, Viterra and its employees are connected to their communities across Western Canada. Through its community investment program, Viterra supports a wide variety of causes and initiatives, including those focused on sports and recreation that encourage teamwork, integrity, and high performance. These same values guide Viterra's employees when providing farm customers with trusted advice and quality service. Viterra is a proud sponsor of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
All right, people, let's get to work. Lights off.
Ma'am, there's someone at the door. Unknown male, might be a salesman.
Take care of it. You, drop the temperature. I'm roasting.
Ma'am, your straightening iron. Shall I pull the plug?
Yes. While you're at it, leave room for milk.
Introducing the all-new heated cab for the John Deere 1R tractor. Simply captivating.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, our tiebreaker game just about set to resume play here in the 6th end. Penny Barker getting a single point that She may have preferred the blank, but it does give us a tie score here with the 5 ends left to play.
Those are some really nice comments from Penny, you know, very honest, very genuine, to let us know that they had changed their game plan and that, yes, they had been concerned about time clocks and knew that they had to do something a little different to make sure they were in this game for the back half.
Yeah, and as much as you say the time clocks weren't an issue, I think last night they were.
Said they you know, they got out of their flow, and we remember one game earlier this week where Penny had 1:43 left.
Yeah, I do.
To start the 10th end.
Yep.
And normally you're allowed about 3.5 minutes an end, 4.5 if you're in an extra end. 1:43 is not a lot of time.
Close for line.
They did it. They got their game in, but
Yeah,
there's
it
nothing
certainly
wrong
plays
with
a
it.
factor, and it's not what you.
Okay. Back 4.
Unless you're Kevin Cooey, they don't seem to mind, but for mere mortals.
Starting to curl.
Okay. Still there. Okay. Still all there.
Well, we see the center guard thrown up here to start the end, and
Come on.
Stephanie Lawton now looking to come around it, and this is going to slide a little deep, and boy, if you're going to be deep, you'd like to be deeper than that.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be. And that's something that should be discussed amongst the sweepers. I mean, you either want to stop that in front of the tee line or you want that back 3 or 4 feet past. You don't want to be 1 rock behind the tee line. So that's a bit of a sweeping error.
Right, you can't decide that at the top 8. You need to
Exactly.
thinking about that 2 or 3 feet short of the house anyways.
Yeah, that decision needs to be made a lot earlier.
Hard, line's great. Line's really good. Hard. All the way, all the way, all the way.
Danielle Sosinski trying to come around and freeze to that stone, and she's going to come up a little bit short. Does come into the 12-foot for second shot.
Yeah, opportunity to though a lot, and if they can get one now, top 4. Pressure's on.
Kim, you were still making your way back upstairs, but Susan and I were talking a little bit during the break. Both teams have struggled a little bit with draw weight here.
Yeah.
With this only 5 ends left to go here, whichever team can find the weight for that top 4-foot area first may be able to put themselves in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. We're going to have to pick it up pretty quick. And I think we're going to start seeing exactly as we are right now. A lot more rocks in play.
Just
Game on
in
for the
case
last
you were
5.
wondering, that was Brooklyn Lemon throwing that rock.
You can just sit here. That's
Just seeing
good.
if everybody's on their toes.
Just a 10. Okay.
So Lorraine Schneider.
There we go. Part of that defending championship team. And we had mentioned earlier in the week, speaking of that, this is the only team that's back here this year with the same 4 players.
Makes the hit, but just drives it by that stone at the back 4-foot.
Doesn't make the double on the back, but more importantly leaves 3 yellows in some very good positions.
That's fine. That's fine. Clear the front a
So
little
Steph
bit.
says it's time to move a few of those.
Firm is good.
Okay, you know it.
Stick around for a corner here. You got it.
Yep.
Yep.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So the Rio Christina Gertzen here, attempting to clear some yellow rocks out of the way.
Hits that a little thinner than what she had in mind. Just jams the first one, rolls her shooter out of play.
Yeah, kind of lined those yellows up. Not very good for the Barker team, or better yet, good for the Barker team, not very good for the Lawton team.
And it gives Lorraine Schneider a chance to try to come down and
Exactly.
sit on shot rock behind the button.
It's close. All there. We can wait. We're running.
Whoa.
So another one of those
starting
skills
to
that you
move.
need to be able to bring into this game
Starting
is
to
to
move,
be able
stay
to
close.
very
Finish
quickly
it, yeah.
change from throwing a big wave hit to a delicate little draw.
Hard over. Hard over.
Trying to use the sweep to get the curl.
Okay.
And again, another stone a little bit heavy. rubs off that, and I think Stephanie just indicated it is the yellow that's shot rock, but they may be looking at trying to get something in front of the tee line first.
Kind of right to here.
Well, you know those are lined up on top.
Yeah, you can.
I just think those are going to end up hurting us.
Yeah. We might end up taking that.
Even if we can just move them around or something.
I'm just scared, Brooke, that you're going to do this.
I think it's going to hurt you if you play it.
Yeah, there's no.
I don't mind it.
Good either way.
What do you guys think? I just think
those are going to come up. They're not great.
Okay.
I think get rid of it earlier in this end here, just in case something does go wrong. You've still got a couple of extra shots here to get out of trouble and take away the opportunity for Penny to do something with it.
Then I think we should throw less weight then.
Yeah. Do you like firm or normal?
I was going to say even 10.
No.
Okay. I like normal.
Normal.
I like Steph thinking firm, because if there are yellows jamming into yellow, you need as much impact as you can get here.
Weight's good.
Easy. Whoa.
Normal to 9.
No.
They wanted to hold the shooter. This is going to have to curl.
Yep.
Now looking to just pick the top one.
Pardon?
I didn't want.
Like a tap? I like just jaw. Top button. Top button. Nice throw here.
So the come around attempt again.
Come down really hard when we were off it.
Around
Well,
that
Penny
rock in the
can't.
top 8.
You know, as much as Penny doesn't like that red rock back there, she really can't make a play on it that doesn't leave her above the tee. So little danger there. Need a good shot here to keep the pressure on, or else Steph's going to start doing something to bring that second shot into play.
Yep.
That's a lot. Line only right now, Penny. Hold in. Kind of like Lorraine's. Yeah, that's lots. It's coming down.
Whoa.
It's
Stay close.
It's running like Lorraine's.
Whoa.
We're still hot.
Whoa.
No, we're hot.
Whoa. Whoa.
We're 10.
Make it move a little bit.
Sure does seem to be
face.
hard to stay on top of that tee line.
Okay.
Comes down and nudges the yellow stone back just a little bit. She will be shot rock.
Do you like that, or do you want to just go here?
Nope. Okay. I like it, hammer. Sorry. Or we could do this.
Yeah.
You do notice Brooklyn has a lot of input.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
Okay.
Either that or the grind it
Comes from
into.
years
Just
of playing back
bump,
end.
I think.
I like bump.
And she stepped in admirably when Stephanie Schmidt was sick. Played third this past week.
Okay, clean it.
We're up.
Okay, whoa then. Whoa.
Stephanie Schmidt looking for the hit and roll, but
No.
she's going to have to curl or she's going to stay.
Brooke, I need Brooke.
Danger of hitting it thin enough to drive it onto her own right now.
Get one of them.
Oh dear.
Same thing.
Not the game part.
I think we have to go in just because it's back tee. Yeah, it is. Okay. Even
Top
if you're
button.
top 12, that's good.
Top of the tee line's great. Top button.
Getting to be a lot of yellow rocks in the rings.
Wait's close. We can wait. Oh yeah, coming down. Gotta go.
Golden. Line's good. Gotta go. Hard.
Top 8.
Keep going.
Top
Trying to
12.
be great. Hard all the way.
All the way.
Hard. Gotta go.
All the way. Go.
Hard. Keep the line. Hard.
A lot of yellow rocks in the rings, but the struggles for draw weight continue.
Yeah, sure do.
That's not good for us.
Now we're going to see a bit of a conference
Is it
here.
going straight in?
Yep.
It's gonna miss it.
Yeah. It's going right into there.
Yeah, it's going right on the head.
As I said, this is a little unusual. We have Stephanie the third staying at the hack,
Here,
and
but that's gonna go straight to there.
Brooklyn and Stephanie conversing.
You have to hit hot.
Yeah, I think Stephanie's right. It's going right into the red.
You
Brooklyn
have to
thinks it
hit
might
that
go a little
side.
bit
The
past it.
frozen,
Yeah,
right?
well, with
You
the
gotta hit
drag,
this side
but
so that it goes across over.
I don't think so.
Well, this is gonna sit here then.
Throw.
So you think if you
big
hit
weight
there,
at it?
you're just gonna go straight into
Yep.
it?
It's gonna drag this way.
Well then, maybe it will drag enough to do this.
it won't drag that much. Right now we're going here, Brooke.
Okay.
So if we hit it that side, it's going further onto this. So
Well,
we
what
can do
happens
that.
if
We can do this.
I don't.
Don't see that making the situation better for you.
To stick around, yeah. Other option is just play lighter weight and split them up a little bit.
I think at this point you need to get open up the forefoot for you.
Okay.
You're not going to open it up with this shot.
That's an impossible thing to do,
That's fine. If it opens the front up a bit.
And Brooke, you can't hit it the other way? No, she thinks it's going to drag into that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not convinced.
What kind of weight, Steph?
Other option is just like we can get as close to the nose and try to spin this off.
Well, if that, yeah.
But
you
I
think
want
it's
to
going to drag
stick.
into there.
Okay.
If you're throwing. So what's the call?
Normal.
What's the call though? Like, just, what am I doing?
Here,
Just off
I think.
We have to stick
I would like to avoid that, so I guess there.
And normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't stick around here.
Is it too soon to consider the outturn draw around those staggered
I don't
guards?
think so. I think that's...
There's no good options here.
All that happens when you make this shot is they get another chance to come around.
Yep.
Clean. Easy. Yes. Hard, Brock, hard. Go, 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 Christina.
Looking to roll the shooter over.
It's good.
Does
Good.
get enough drag to drag it past that red, but really didn't get the shooter as far off the line as they would have liked. It's taken away the draw path. They do have it available to tap up.
And they're going to play the intern come around to try to sit top 4.
Leaving it so that this is harder.
Yeah.
I think just top 4, top button.
Yeah.
We've played this spot, right? I think we're looking at a
If we can get the calf.
14-7
Yeah, just got to get something tucked in.
or 15.
The calf around.
Okay. You guys think? I was thinking 14-7, but do you think it might be closer to 15?
I was thinking 15 if you want top house. 14-7
Okay.
to tee.
Okay.
And where would you like
We want it top of the
Top
tee
four?
line.
Okay.
For top button's fine too.
Okay.
That pattern hasn't
want it
changed, has
completely
it?
tucked, just
Nope.
She's the
around
best
for
cleaner
fine.
out there.
Okay. Nice close. We have to wait. All there. Pretty good. All there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go.
Lorraine, line only. Lorraine.
Gotta go line.
Has to get by her own stone at the top of the 12-foot.
Lorraine only. All there, D.
We're back house. We're
Are we
back
fine?
house. We're back house. We're back house.
Well, they had to go for the line to get it past their own stone, and it'll come down and tap that. So it is still just
one yellow.
a single point that they're sitting.
I think so, Steph.
I don't think Stephanie can do much more than try to follow it
What are you
down.
thinking, Steph? Draw?
Yeah.
Maybe tap it just
is
a bit
wide
to try to
open,
sneak a second shot in if she ever gets the opportunity, but pretty good
What else
shot
we don't
by
think,
You don't like?
Penny
She
here.
might have a triple on the yellows. That's what Brooklyn's
That's
looking
what Brooklyn
at.
sees, yep.
Like, I don't know. I just if we or what do we?
I would like to.
Can we
Pardon?
get there with the outturn? No, this is it. Like that's the only way to get there.
And we can tap a little bit, I guess.
Because if you rip it, then she comes on top, and
There's just too much risk.
yeah. I
here,
just want to
guys.
make sure she has a shot for her next one.
Yeah, I know. I might have something with 6. So
Yeah.
Stephanie likes the freeze.
We've seen this
Yeah,
spot.
it will finish, so
Yep.
just be ready.
Well, back when Brooklyn was in her junior career and playing CIS university curling level,
to be there.
that was her
guys
MO,
can
were
keep the
these
tap
big
only
run
if the line is
types
good.
of triple shots. So if she was throwing the last one, I'm pretty sure that red one would have been coming in right
The
about now.
last
It was
couple feet.
talking to a couple of her
Closer.
former coaches way back then. It was, she always loved to play that super aggressive shot, and it was just always trying to coach her into. Sometimes there's another option.
I think that's a common junior mentality.
Stephanie Lawton, last rock here in the 6th end, in some trouble. just facing the single point right now, but hard to find a way to get in there. She's got to get to the inside of this rock, likely to be shot.
And can't bounce off.
Word to the red. Becky, okay.
If she can put this one on the button on the inside corner of it, might be able to get a chance for 2 yet, but this looks strong and has a lot of line coming by.
Okay.
So it continues to be Penny Barker sitting shot.
13 and a half.
And she'll have another chance to come in on top.
Because their shot, though, right? Because if she could ever clip it off, I don't know. That might just push it. I think you want to go there. It's a little bit more. I think so.
Just a hair less.
A lot of rocks in play and nothing out front.
This might hang a little longer. 6 less speed.
So again, the race to the one in front of the tee line.
Okay, guys. Just full 4. Full 4, okay. Yeah, right to the face of it. Okay. Great.
If she needs the face, if she ever gets the corner, that will set up an opportunity for the double for Stephanie Lawton.
Okay.
Penny Barker has some pressure on here already. Boy, if she could lock this right on the face, I'm not sure how Stephanie Lawton scores at all.
Agreed.
In fact, it might be hard to even cut her to a steal of 1.
We're good. Still out here. We gotta wait. Finish. Coming down now. Yeah, take it. We're still there. Well, if you need to. No, we don't have to. We don't have to. Danielle. Top 8, top 4. Hard. 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 Go. Go.
And the sweepers fooled on that one. They thought it was there.
Certainly wanted to get second shot.
And they leave it short.
So right now, all of that, it's only 1 yellow.
There's nothing to get a cup.
There's the angle tap for 2.
Yeah, that's your safest
But
shot
she's looking at playing it as a draw.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But even if we do touch that, we'll probably.
I don't think it is. I was thinking a little, inside.
Here, I think. There.
Stephanie Lawton a little bit relieved, although this isn't a simple, straightforward shot. She's not looking at 2.
You know it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm almost surprised she's not looking at 2, though. You don't have to throw it that much harder. You throw back line, and instead of trying the T-line draw, she's trying to stop this on a dime. That's not easy either.
This 13 and a half would be true on this side, wouldn't it? 14 and a half is the tee on this side. It's not as quick as the turn. 13 and a half, because I just threw 13 and a half, hey? So that would be true?
No, like this side we think is a 14 and a half to tee.
To tee?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not as quick as it's not as keen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not.
So they say the side is not as quick as the other
so
side.
It's back 4 weight here.
Okay. Straight up.
Yeah.
She does have a couple of ways she can make this. They did talk about it before Stephanie went down to the hacks, that if they're a little thin on the first one, they could come off the back of the stone that Penny just threw. They were on this one for line early. They've got to hit it a little bit on the outside to drive it towards the button, and it's going to over curl, and it will come through the 4 foot. It's going to be a steal of 1 point for Penny Barker. She takes the lead after 6 ends of play.
Introducing the all-new heated cab for the John Deere 1R tractor. Simply captivating.
White Ice, the ice paint people, set out to develop a very specific ice paint product that would satisfy the needs of the professional ice maker in both hockey and curling. White ice was successfully formulated and tested, and distribution began in 1988 and has since expanded their line of products and services to meet the needs of today's professional ice makers. White ice is distributed by Eastside Paint and Wallpaper in Saskatoon, who is also a signature Benjamin Moore paint dealer. White ice and Eastside Paint and Wallpaper, defining the game.
Welcome back, everyone. Just a reminder that the Page playoffs will be on tonight. We're going to feature the 1-2 game. It'll be Robin Silvernagel against Chantel Eberly. And the 3-4 game will be played as well. Sherry Anderson waiting to find out who she's going to play here. It'll be whoever wins this tiebreaker game.
Somebody with a better hairdo than what that person's got right now.
Yeah, that's not so good. I don't know that Sherry would like that picture of herself there either. The birthday girl herself.
First stone here in this 7th end brought into the button area, and now Brooklyn Lemon will look to throw the corner guard.
Okay.
Wait, straight.
Gotta curl a bit. Here it
Okay,
goes.
is it running?
No, it's curling now.
Okay.
Right to here. Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Your toes.
Okay.
A little past.
16. Holy slidey.
Down, girl.
Sit. It's good, Brooke.
Stops us a pretty tight corner.
Now Danielle Sasinski will look to throw the guard on the button stone she delivered with her first one, and sweepers have indicated this might be a little strong.
Yeah,
Worried about it might
running.
slide in.
Yeah, all there. Okay. Coming down. We're probably 4. That's actually running.
Can you
now.
come to it?
No, we freeze it right at 4.
That's fine. Bring it in, it's fine.
Okay, that's good.
And it does slide into the 12 foot, so Stephanie Lawton does have the option to make a play on those stones.
Yeah.
Just here.
Try really hard for that roll.
Not even, they don't think she's even too concerned about making the double. She wants to make the hit and roll.
Control.
Yep. Hard.
Weight's good.
Hard.
On the sweep early, looking for the roll here. Not going to get the roll, so switching to maybe try the double.
Okay, that's fine.
Tight.
That curled right across the face on that. She jams the back stone, but
yeah,
shooter does stay in the 12 foot, so Penny Barker will have to make a play on it.
Sorry, where's the roll, Penny?
Just to here.
Okay.
Clean.
No.
Whoa. Whoa. Sorry. Danielle, go. Go, go, go. Sorry, Lorraine. It's a 9.
Makes the hit,
Yeah.
but the shooter's
She
going to
threw it
roll out
well.
of play. Shot rock continues to be that Barker stone in the corner of the 4 foot. Stephanie Lawton going to ignore it and come around the corner guard.
Yeah, I like this call
it's go
too.
time.
Line's nice. Stay close. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, weight's good. We're T-line. T-line plus.
Okay.
Weight only. T-line plus.
Room right
Lots
now.
of room.
Room.
Pac-12.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Really?
That was almost as in disbelief. Really?
Well, if it is back 12, that's okay, but if it's just through the back 12, and it is, slides through the back line and out of play.
Boy, everybody fooled on that one. The sweepers gave that a pretty good brush.
Like a 9-5.
Boy, when it's a struggle, it just seems to go all the way top to bottom, every aspect of the game. I have to admire Steph Lawton's composure here. You could start to get pretty frustrated. I'm sure she is, but she does a wonderful job of masking it.
Yes, I agree. We see Penny peeling
Really
the
nice
corner.
throw, Lorraine. It's just real straight.
Well, we do
Nice
know
weight.
from what we
Nice
heard earlier in the game that Stephanie Lawton has mixed around the stones at least a little bit. I think Christina Gertzen was throwing the one earlier in the game, but of course we don't know why
Just
they
really
mixed them
straight.
around.
Yeah,
A
there
lot
might
of
be
times
that
if you think
nice
you've got
and
rocks that are
straight.
different speed,
Good.
you'll give them to the second, assuming that they're going to throw hits, but then when she does have to throw a draw, it can make it a little trickier.
That's true. You have to have 2 different weights for each rock.
Normal. Yep. Nice, normal.
Clean. Clean. Yep. Go.
So was anybody surprised with Penny peeling the corner?
Well, yes, because we're in the odd end. I thought she might like to force the play to keep last rock into the 8th here, and now she's going to allow Stephanie Lawton to try to run this through for a blank.
And go for it in 8. And to me, it just seemed a little out of character for Penny.
Because that was a very nice rock to put some pressure on.
It sure was.
Clean.
Sometimes you want to keep your opposition back on the heels and force them to do the harder shots, because even now today, even some of the basic shots have been a real challenge.
Not basic.
Yeah. That
10.
a tight center line guard there has Lawton, back on the defensive again.
Yep.
Here she can at
You
least
want normal or
breathe
still go
and
back
figure
to
out the 8th then.
Still go back to the situational play, though. Do you really want to let her have 2 hammers to your 1? You've given her the chance to blank this end.
Normal up. Clean.
There are some who would tell you, and I'm not going to advocate one way or the other, that you'd be better off to let Stephanie Lawton get 2 here than to let her blank the end.
Good.
Yeah, I've heard that logic.
Because then at least you're the one with 2 hammers.
That's right. Now, it was my grandma that said that. She hasn't played in a while. But
Maybe a hair more. Clean. Close though. Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard, 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 hard. A little bit hard, hard, hard. Okay, sorry. Nice weight. 10.
But even just playing on the emotion of your opposition giving you a steal in the 6th end, if you get another back-to-back steal
well, for
on that,
sure.
then you've really,
go with
really
the momentum. Yep.
started to get them concerned and worried that if I'm Stephanie Lawton, okay, I'm going to escape this, or the possibility to escape this end and refresh.
Clean. A little bit. Just clean.
Here's the other thing we know.
Yep.
This whole game has been a little bit wide open, and there's no other games to talk about. We got a lot of work to do up here.
Well, Penny goes down.
Is that tainting your view, are you saying? You wanted to see her throw a guard? Just
so we have something to talk about. Tired of talking about you all the time, Sean.
Well, every once in a while, somebody sends us a nice note to say thanks for the broadcast. Yesterday, it was Nancy Martin when she was traveling back from her Olympic trials. Just a couple of ends ago, Tracy and Brad Height sent me a note and said, we're down in Australia. We're really, really happy to be able to tune into the CurlSask webcast and find out what's going on with Saskatchewan curling. So hi, Tracy. Hi, Brad. And thank you for the note.
That's awesome. Is Brad going to make it back in time for his senior men's?
Yes, he is.
Australia's a long way away.
Yeah, he's got to start swimming.
Is he curling?
Yeah, I wonder how's he practicing stones in Australia.
Yeah, different ice. I wonder what kind of ice that would be.
The kind that goes in his glass, I think. Stephanie Lawton look to exchange stones here and perhaps have the opportunity to blank this 7th end now. This is that same spot in the ice where she's had a few issues with maybe being tight on a few of these hits.
Well, this was her first end blank. That turned out to be a nose.
Clean. Yep.
Clean call out of her hand, and this one would indicate she's throwing this one very well.
Just like that.
Makes the nose hit.
9-5.
Penny Barker will try to hit, probably stay right in the middle somewhere. Make this roll as long as she can.
Little flop to the center line. Great.
There you go.
9-5.
Penny Barker with her final stone here in the 7th, just looking for the nose hit. Maybe roll a little bit to the center line if she could.
Just to make the blank a little harder, but that works too.
You know this.
So this is a pretty important blank.
We have seen Stephanie Lawton, I think there's 3 now in this game. 3 times in this general area that they've had to call a sweep on right out of her hand on an out-turn hit. She threw the last one very well. Looking for the blank here. She's got the big weight. They called a sweep on early on this one again. Makes the hit. And again, a little bit tight. Not able to get the rollout, and it's a single point for Stephanie Lawton. We're all tied up after 7.
Take your Share More plan with you and enjoy worry-free data in the U.S. The all-new Share More Canada and U.S. plan, now available from SaskTel.
As Canada's grain industry leader, Viterra and its employees are connected to their communities across Western Canada. Through its community investment program, Viterra supports a wide variety of causes and initiatives, including those focused on sports and recreation that encourage teamwork, integrity, and high performance. These same values guide Viterra's employees when providing farm customers with trusted advice and quality service. Viterra is a proud sponsor of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got, dare I say it, at least 3 ends left to go in this tiebreaker game. Never more than a point separating the 2 teams. Sean Joyce with Susan Lang and Kim Hudson here. The 8th end about to get underway.
Sort of feels like the start of a 3rd period of the hockey game with the score all tied up here at 3-3.
Yeah, the last third of the game. It's time to turn it up.
Right here, guys. Just
Stephanie Lawton without last rock here is going to look to throw the center guard.
Wait. Stephanie, go. Here, just here.
But again, the pressure is in the sense that when you've got a game that's only single points, and now we're into the latter parts of this game, all of a sudden 2 seems like
huge.
A massive score. It's sort of getting exponential now. 2 feels like way more than 2.
Yeah. You know, you play the first couple ends open, now all of a sudden it's, oh wait, we only have 3 ends left to go.
Deanna tight. Deanna tight.
Whoa. Well, in certainly Stephanie's defense, she's had a lot of draws go through the rings on her too. It's not from a lack of calling, just a lack of execution today that's not as sharp as what they have been.
Yeah. Scott out in that wider path. It's 14-5.
Well, another stone just behind the tee line, and they didn't get the line they were looking for there either. It's well out into the open, enough room for Brooklyn Lemon to make a play on that, and even with the roll, I think she'll just be straddling the tee line. I don't think she rolls behind it at all.
Nice weight.
Yep.
Easy. Whoa. Weight straight.
Easy.
Close.
Yep.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Sounding close, like the on-off.
Close. Whoa.
Anything?
Go.
There's a nice shot.
Does make the roll behind. It's more than halfway behind the tee line.
It's still behind the tee line though, so you're going to see some rocks in play here.
Still just the 4th stone of the end, so she can't make a play on the guard. Danielle Sosinski will look to come around and try to sit on that stone.
Where are we?
Little tighter.
Weight's close. Deanna tight.
Whoa, if you can.
Yeah, we can. Deanna tight. It's coming down.
Do it. Whoa. Okay, whoa.
Deanna tight.
Okay, yeah, Deanna, go.
Deanna tight.
Are we bouncing?
Nope.
Okay, go.
Deanna tight.
Make it good. Hard. Hard, little bounce.
There's a nice shot. And Stephanie says, let's just sit right on top of that, line these up.
What I was watching on that beautiful shot by Danielle was Stephanie Lawton's team watching the shot, not necessarily to see if it was made, but they were tracking that draw path, they were timing everything.
That's right.
Everybody was engaged on watching that shot to learn to see what they need to do.
They were on this stone right away. Still saying it's just to it, but
gotta go
gotta
for
go to
line.
get by the guard.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Just
good
gets
sweeping.
by.
Keep going. Great sweep, you guys. Okay, that's
And
There's
they
another
are
good
just
shot.
to it on the crossing the face just a little bit. That's actually in a great spot. They've got a way to get that yellow out now.
Yep, no, done very well. And here comes the peel.
As much as Penny Barker happy to be shot rock right now, that center area not really setting up very well for her.
That's right.
Just clean. Just easy, easy. Easy, guys. Whoa, whoa.
Clean, clean, clean's good, clean's good.
Nice peel.
Nice.
Stephanie Lawton now will ask Christina Gertzen to put that guard back. We haven't had a chance to talk about this situation much in the this game, but we may be seeing a little bit of the cat and mouse here. It'll be a question of how many times do you put the guard back. Penny Barker might have to decide how many times she wants to just straight peel this.
Yeah, before she decides to move those around or run it into
them.
them.
Eventually do something with those rocks in the middle. And
no, we're not going around. I want to break this up a bit. Yep, yep, yep.
Although that discussion is kind of moot.
If you don't make the guard, that changes that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's fine.
If you hit that center nose.
I like a nose here, or just off nose.
It would be really
It'll
interesting
leave
to find
this
out if
here,
Christina
this'll
did get
go-
some different rocks
this
to
not going
work with,
anywhere.
because
Is it better to hit
her
on my
first,
side a little bit?
We actually can
that-
probably take up.
she's had a lot of stones that have been that 6 and 8 feet
I think
heavy
all three
on
reds
one of them.
go.
I think the most important two are the top two to get rid of.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get the top two without getting the back one, I don't
You
think.
guys want to try? We can try and
I
sa-
agree
save
with you
the
on this
shooter
one,
though.
Sean.
If you hit this just
the
off
same
the nose
time.
on the left-hand side as we look at it, I think
Exactly.
all three
All
reds
three
go,
red. Yep.
and the yellow is
Well,
only moving
just-
at about an
If
inch.
we hit 2/3 with some weight, I just like to stick around. It'd be nice. This should just spin, but it might catch our own on the way up.
Yeah, I see. Because if we roll this
Right.
way, that's good.
We'll come take a look at it.
I think so, eh?
Okay. Like I think it's. Well,
Deanna's
half is
coming to take a
perfect, but
look.
I
then
think
we're
we
not.
still want to make sure we stick the shooter though, Penny, right?
Like, this should all go and leave the 2, but then, is that fine? It's wide open then.
Yeah.
But,
I see what you're saying. I don't mind that hit.
like just this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you come
Yeah.
in with your shot, then your shooter might
Yeah,
spin
that's
up
not
up to
really bad,
that
Danielle.
my Viterra
No?
sign,
Okay.
way the
I think
rocks will
nose.
bounce around.
Okay. What kind of weight do you like?
Still would probably set a double, but
9-5.
Okay.
You can even be a little high here.
Still on second stones. Lorraine throwing her last here.
No.
Yep.
No, off.
Weight's good.
Okay, well,
Deanna.
Go.
Got to get some curl here. They have to hit
And
that
then roll
stone
it off, roll it
just
off.
on the center
Keep going,
line
keep going, keep
first.
going. Hard. It's fine.
Well,
Across
they
the road
get,
does kill 2 reds.
yep, 2 reds moving.
Do we hit that top one?
It leaves a nose hit on the yellow to kill both yellows.
Yeah.
I think you're okay. You might be able to get both here.
Right on nose?
No, I'm thinking a little high.
Hair high? Okay.
I just don't want this to squirt out. I think
Yeah.
you're okay though.
Think even. Think normal?
you need normal plus to make sure you've got enough force to
A
get
hair
that rock
high.
off the button and all the way
Firm.
through.
Okay. Just nice firm, yeah.
Do we what? Are you sure firm?
Pardon?
You don't like normal? If we're sticking around?
Well, you're gonna hit this real thin, and this won't go if you're.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
just wondering if we want to stick around.
I do.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Just to
I think
there.
you want to kill
Okay.
both yellows
Firm.
first.
Not gonna be crazy.
Sticking around's great if you can sit 2, but if you don't get both yellows out of the rings, you're still looking at a possible deuce
off.
against you. Needs to be close to the nose to keep that red. She actually hits that very thin, and it's the first yellow that she doesn't get out.
Yeah, like you said, that had to be pretty close to the nose. And now we're looking at the deuce for the Barker team.
Penny Barker forgets what color she's throwing and goes to call for the hit on the yellow.
Don't take that one out. Go here.
Deanna Doig has to step back from the hacks. She's laughing too hard.
Well, sometimes that's what you need to break the tension out there.
Oh, exactly.
Kind of weight. What kind of weight, Penny?
The 10.
Okay. All right, you take your time here.
Fortunately, the three players at the other end of the ring were awake on that one.
Exactly.
Steph looked a little puzzled, going like, "What are you doing?" But do it.
You know, Stephanie Lawton was on the ice a few years ago for a round robin game, and the player who did this is going to hate that I'm bringing it up, so I won't mention her name, but she had last rock in the ninth end against Penny Barker, threw a setup shot with last rock. The whole team forgot that it was actually last stone.
10. Nice weight.
They were all very happy with the shot they'd thrown. They were wondering why there was no applause coming up from the crowd, and then they realized, oh, we're out of rocks. That's a steal of one.
Yeah.
What weight, Steph? Is fine.
What?
Do you like control?
Yeah.
Okay. Easy.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Hard. Hard.
Okay, that's good. Whoa.
I was looking to roll back towards that other yellow stone, try to get them grouped for a chance at a double later on. It actually rolls further out in the open, and it's still second shot.
Like a 10.
Penny Barker will make a play on it. That way, even if the double's made, she'll be able to keep the blank alive.
Might be a little firmer. Soft.
Clean.
Yes.
Yes.
Hard.
Clean.
Hard.
Hard. Clean, 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 clean. Nice.
Two nice throws by Deanna.
Makes the nose hit, stays right there.
And they're, you know,
Stephanie Lawton
as
eyeing up the
straightforward
double.
and as open as that shot is, the pressure on there, you don't want to be that person that hits and rolls out and takes that two-ender away. So even though we would call that open or a simple or basic shot, at this stage of
No,
the
there's
game,
only one
or
rock in the
routine.
rings. There's got to be four before it's routine.
But two very composed throws by Deanna there.
Yep, you can always count on Deanna for those. Very solid player.
Yeah.
She probably had more problems with her composure on the first one when she had to step back and stop laughing.
Exactly.
Stephanie Lawton, she eyed up the double. There is the possibility if she overcrows, she could just roll over towards that stone and perhaps have an easier double on her last one.
Well, we got some weight coming.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
It is fairly thin to make the double.
Sounding close.
Makes the hit, comes across, will make contact with the second stone, and her shooter will spin up and out of the rings, out of play. Nothing left in play at all now for Penny Barker's first stone.
Or make him throw something different. She just threw over there.
Well, that changes things.
And perhaps a better situation now for Stephanie Lawton after she took the single point she didn't really want. Let's take one more look at this double.
T-line.
Playing the inside-out turn, she gets that big action on her shooter coming across, and that's what spins it out the top. But if you're going to be tied up without, you'd like to stay that way going into 9.
To 9, for sure. You did see the score clocks there, or the time clock, sorry, and not an issue, obviously, for either team. Plus 2 timeouts left for both teams.
Whoa. Kind of trying really straight.
I got
Really
dirty lips
straight.
up here when I said we're playing at least 3 more. And there's still that extra end is looming.
Did the dirty looks come from the really busy officials across the way?
No, leave it.
Sorry, guys. That's good. Sorry, Penny.
That's okay.
Having said that, those officials do a lot of work, and especially early on in the week. And
Normal weight.
all volunteer. So a huge thank you to them.
The turnaround here, not quite as tight when you've only got to get ready for 2 games tonight as well.
That's right.
Okay, hit and stick. Hit normal weight here.
I asked them earlier, now that we're down to 2 tonight and then 1 and 1 game left, I said, are you guys just coasting now? They said, we never coast. Very serious about their jobs.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
A little soft rotation.
It's a little soft. Yep. 095. Yep.
Clean.
Hard for nose. Yep.
Yep.
Hard for nose. Hard for nose. Gotta go. Good.
Sorry.
Makes the hit, does roll back to the center line, but will stay in the back of the 12-foot, and Penny Barker will have to make a play on that stone.
And that rock in the back of the 12 does make the blank a tiny bit easier. Doesn't have to roll too far to blank the end.
Can tighten it a little bit.
We've already seen 3 blank attempts end up with single points
That's
on
right.
the board, so you can't take these for granted.
9.
Penny Barker, final stone here in the 8th end. Playing the out turn hit, needs to roll just about 3 feet to get the blank. They called whoa right away. And now they're looking for extra curl. This may be in danger of sliding right by. Does catch a piece of it, gets the blank end, and we're still all tied up after 8 ends of play.
When you need to hurry, you can count on Team Jiffy Lube. With fast, warranty-approved service while you wait. Jiffy Lube, your oil change experts.
Totally my first time. I'm very excited. Don't worry, you're gonna have a great time. We're gonna throw the run for practice, and then we're gonna actually play games. Really? Yeah. Awesome.
Smack it better. Could be better.
Want to try it and have some fun? Hurry hard to your local curling center or visit CurlSask.ca to find a curling center near you.
Welcome back, everyone. Another look at, or a look from high above ice level here at the Northern Lights Palace. Tiebreaker action on here on Saturday afternoon, and 8 ends haven't decided a thing. These teams still deadlocked.
That's true, other than we have exchanged hammer. The start of the game, Stephanie had it, and now we have Penny with hammer.
Well, that big double by Stephanie Lawton there, that 12-foot to 12-foot double brought the big round of applause from the crowd on that shot. That was an end saver.
No question, that was huge.
Gotta go. Coming down. Okay. Still all there. Still all there.
Brooklyn Lemon throws that tight center guard with her first stone. Danielle Sosinski looking to come around it. And again, the struggles continue, and it's not just the leads. It's been for most of the players trying to find that top 4-foot weight has been a struggle.
Yeah, it's been a little bit elusive.
We have heard a couple of the players talk about one side being different than the other.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. We could just follow the
that can be a bit of a struggle when you're trying to find two different draw weights every end.
Like top 4.
Yeah.
You know your path. I like that. It's behind T. Yeah, you know your path.
Yeah, let's make this good.
Yeah.
So not throwing the long center. They're going to come in top 4.
A little bit more. Whoa, easy. Bit of room right
Weight's
now.
good.
Easy. Stay close for line.
I think we're top 8. Want to go a bit.
The game plan for Stephanie Lawton here in the 9th end, she'd like to see a single point go up on the board.
Of course.
May not care which team scores it. She'll be happy with it one way or the other.
Just not a blank.
What do you think is the plan here for Penny Barker? Is she really want the blank, or will she take a soft deuce if she gets it?
Oh, I'm sure
will
if
she
she
go
has
hard
the
for the
chance,
deuce?
she'll take it, but will she go hard for it? Probably.
For a little under half. I have less
Probably
than half.
not,
Okay.
I'm thinking.
I like hack. Okay.
The one school of thought, if you've got last rock here, if you know your opposition's going to try to force you, maybe let them force you to 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still just the 4th rock at the end. They've got to watch the guard. Stephanie Lawton was ready to sweep that.
Yeah.
It's just enough weight to push it into the rings.
Well, I was going to say, Steph, get over there and sweep that yellow. Make sure it's not a biter.
Yeah, we want to force here, so let's do it. Yeah, it's nice here.
So, replacing the center guard.
I think you'd have to say, though, the way this end has started up, it's advantage Stephanie Lawton.
Oh,
I don't see
sure.
a blank.
Nope, we're going to have
There's going to
rocks
be
in
some
play.
work to do to get this back to a possible blank.
Yep.
Okay, back here. Yep.
Looking for a center guard, and already halfway down the sheet
We're
there,
there.
changing to try to come to the back
Let it
one.
work a bit. Okay, yep.
This
Clean
is
it. You.
20 feet heavier than what they were looking for.
Yep. Go hard. Go.
Makes the tap. Actually pushes that far enough that they are sitting 3. But that is a long ways off the weight they were looking for on that shot.
Get a roll, that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking Penny's
Probably could
quite happy to
do
be
that
playing in
and
the
roll.
rings.
It'll take this with it. That's fine. I like 9-5. Okay. Hit 2/3. Yep. It's good up if anything. Good go. Hard to stick.
Looked like she turned that one in a little bit when she let go, give it a little extra steerage.
It's okay. Just gotta go on. Yeah.
And not able to hold the shooter, it rolls out of play.
Yeah,
think
ideally
we
your
better remove
handle sort
that.
of at that 12 o'clock
don't
position
really
when
wanna
you're letting
stick-
go, and I think
no,
she sort of
no,
had it
I
about
don't
2 or
wanna
3
stick this
o'clock on
roll
the
out.
turnover there.
I think, yeah.
Stephanie Lawton deciding they maybe better remove this little biter at the back. They don't want to give up the extra points.
Considering we're only on seconds rocks,
Weight's good.
I see a blank coming.
Well, there's still not an easy double there.
No, not yet, but there's lots of rocks to come and nothing else in play.
Just to get by her own, and they wanted to roll out on this one.
I think that's out.
Okay, let me rephrase the question for you. You were saying you see the
Okay.
blank coming, but
Like this?
are you surprised at all that she didn't attempt the center guard? She was still
like
sitting
this
too.
attack.
I think that yellow was just third shot.
I actually, that's kind of where I was going with this.
Well, she is going to try to hold the force for a long time. Lorraine Schneider going to play the hit and roll on that stone, just biting the top of 12 foot, try to group these red ones.
Close. Close. Yes. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. It's a big roll. It's fine.
Makes the hit and does roll over.
Yeah,
towards
started
that
to
red
group
stone.
them a little bit.
Yeah, one of our volunteer officials, we always have somebody behind the sheet charting the rocks just
do you
in
like
case
this?
Sure.
you ever have to. You can see him up there in the top right corner. Couple rocks ago looked so
normal is
excited.
good.
It looked like he's going to get something more than 4 rocks to play with there, but now,
nope.
Back to couple.
Yeah, he's had a couple of games with Penny Barker playing where we were afraid he was going to run out of magnets back there.
Exactly, he had to go borrow magnets from the next sheet.
Yeah, we can see observers walking up the rampway, trying to get an angle of what's happening.
Whoa, just the edge of one.
Makes the hit and rolls across. Trying to roll that to a spot where a double would be difficult. I think they've made that one about as good as they can. You roll a little bit farther, you'd have the thin double. You roll a little less than that, you'd have the slash.
Yeah, so they're looking at just hitting and rolling on top.
Right, because then it would be very difficult for Lawton to save a shooter if they have to remove it with only using half a rock and clearing the back one. So very important roll coming up here for Deanna.
10. Roll. Little soft. No. Close. Close. Go a little, Lorraine. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Now roll. Okay.
Makes the hit, but rolls just a couple of inches.
A little conservative on that sweep call, but
It's not bad there. It's hard for Stephanie to roll further away without risking putting it onto her own. And a nose hit would leave a slash double.
Yeah, were you throwing normal in this?
Yeah, I've been throwing normal.
Okay.
Okay, you got it. Right up. Okay, let's make it.
Whoa.
9-5. Clean. A little more than last time.
Yep.
Had to wait for this to start to curl. They'd love to hit it just a hair on the outside. Gets the nose hit.
That was a 9-5, Steph. Okay.
Decision time for Penny Barker.
Okay, try for the double.
They're going to try the double now.
There
You
go.
risk losing your shooter is the only problem here. If you ever jam this and roll out, you'd give Stephanie Lawton
2/3.
a chance to split the rings.
I still like the 10. Do you like one more roll?
And I don't think the hack end quite as concerned or quite as convinced. They were
they're
asking
questioning.
about one more roll in front. See if you could get a better opportunity, but Deanna Doig ready to throw.
Yep. 10.
well, Danielle had a good point. If you do get the roll in front, you still keep that deuce alive. You might get the jam.
Makes the hit, but drives it just by the second stone and rolls across. Now a nose hit would make the double very difficult.
Okay, let's go, Steph. You know this.
Okay, I like normal. Hit and stick right there is perfect. I like. Yeah, let's go. Normal weight here.
Stephanie Lawton would love to force the single here and have last rock in the 10th end.
Easy.
Needs to stay right here.
Clean, yep. No. Whoa.
Cannot afford to roll out.
Sit.
And she has.
Okay, it's pretty straight here. Yeah, it is. 9-5.
Been an exasperating day here for Stephanie. She's rolled out when she doesn't want to. She's nosed when she doesn't want to.
I know, I don't want to. But I am going to say that was huge.
Well, yeah, there's no other way to look at it.
Yeah.
And then
She stays there, and Penny Barker's got a decision to
Exactly.
make. Do you play whole hog for the
You might as
double,
well, exactly,
or do you freeze the back
or
one?
freeze to the back one now. You know, you're going to be forced to your one.
And now you've made it easy for
And
her. She
now-
doesn't have to think about that.
Exactly.
And it makes Penny's decision to play the double on Deanna's second one there an even better decision.
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine, a bit. Okay.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate for you here.
Okay.
You don't want the blank end here. Do you freeze on this shot?
You know, it's certain. I mean, obviously
There
we
are
can
teams
see
that
they're not
would.
doing it, but
Yep.
yeah, it's certainly an option.
Stick there, I think, is okay.
No hesitation in this call on Stephanie's part, but I'm just thinking too, like where would you put the broom, because you have to start on the other side of center. That you know, that's not an easy place to freeze that yellow rock right now. It's not really right off onto the corner.
Yep.
Hard! Gotta go! Hard! Gotta go, Brooklyn!
She was tight, and this isn't big weight.
Brooklyn!
This is hard for a piece.
Keep going. You got it.
She's got a piece, but they wanted to stay and at least force Penny to have to make a play on that
Makes
rock.
the blank
She's going to
pretty
roll
simple.
out.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
So Penny Barker will be able to just throw this stone through
Make it a good one. Yeah.
and take last rock into the 10th end of play. And okay, now maybe there's not much chance of an extra end. Although we can't say never. We did see earlier in the round robin draw, I believe it was Chantel Eberly, hit and roll out in the 10th end and had to play an extra.
Yeah.
So Penny Barker with the throw through here in the 9th end. We are all tied up 3 apiece, and we're going to go into the last end with Penny Barker having last rock.
Introducing the all-new heated cab for the John Deere 1R tractor. Simply captivating.
All right, people, let's get to work. Lights off.
Ma'am, there's someone at the door. Unknown male, might be a salesman.
Take care of it. You, drop the temperature. I'm roasting.
Ma'am, your straightening iron. Shall I pull the plug?
Yes. While you're at it, leave room for milk.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, one end left to go in this tiebreaker. Sherry Anderson sitting back, waiting to find out who she'll be playing tonight in the 3-4 game. The 1-2 game is set. We know it'll be Robin Silvernagel and Chantel Eberly. There you look at this page playoff draw and the tiebreaker here. Lawton and Barker looking to move into that 4 seed spot.
And we see the first rock coming. Excuse me, and looks like they're playing for the long center. Here's where you don't want to be a 2. You can be tight or long.
It's a little tighter than I would have liked.
Perhaps a tad, yeah. And this is also where the first 9 ends just don't matter now. Let's just play one final end. Everybody make your last 2 shots.
They're even tied on the time clocks. Both teams had 6 minutes and 46 seconds left to play the game.
Yeah, and the time is obviously not a concern. 6 minutes plus 2 times outs for each team.
Sweepers have backed right away from this one.
I don't really know where she should put this one, though. 3.
Come on. No. Sorry. Sorry, guys.
And it will come to rest just on the side of the button.
That's why I'm like, no.
No, we can pound it. So still lots of room for Brooklyn Lemon to put in a tight guard here.
Not concerned with the rock on the button just yet. Lots of end to play.
Line's
Wait,
good.
nice.
Yep. 3. Line's nice. Got a bit of room yet.
So
3
don't
though.
want this in the rings. You just want a tight center
Bring it now. Hard, guys,
around that
hard.
long
Bring it over,
center.
Steph. Switch. Go, 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 go. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
There's a nice shot.
Nice pair, Brooke.
Good shot.
It's the nice lineup on those two guards.
You bet. And there you see Penny saying, let's put another one around.
Good time for our 2 points. But interesting that Penny's not attempting any tick shots or anything either. Just opting to get into these
Stay
rings and put
close.
the pressure on that way.
Where are we?
Gotta go.
Well, it's going to be congested.
Line's
There's going to
good.
be quite a few rocks in play here, I think.
Well, you expect that Penny Barker
Starting to
on the
finish.
reins first one will start trying to clean up
Freeze it.
that
Oh, I
center
think
line
so.
area, but
Freeze it.
Stephanie's going to have rocks to work with.
Yep. Go, 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 go.
Made as called, though. Very nicely done.
But especially with both those two center guards on the center line, you know, that's a tough double peel. Even if you can nip something even a foot over, now you open that double peel option. So that's that gives, I believe, Stephanie, even though her 2 yellow rocks here on the button, a nice opportunity when your opposition is leaving those for you.
Christina Gertzen would like to lock one on the face of that
Okay, T-line.
stone that was just delivered if she could.
Line's fine. It's running, guys. T-line.
Well, you saw Steph indicates even top 12, top 8 is second best here. You don't want to be bouncing off anything.
Still T?
Yep, back.
Okay, yep.
Looking now to come by the top one and nudge the second
Okay,
stone
that's
a little
good.
bit.
That's not bad.
I also don't like that red one in the forefront. Either do I. Yeah, I think so. Time?
So they're going to call timeout, talk about this one.
Well, it's just we really need a plan here, that's all.
I just think that might help them.
Coach Merv Flonger makes his way out.
What if we just
Flop away our right.
Like, I think this might not. Yeah. If we go here, because right now they're. If we leave this there, if they put one here, it looks gross, and it's gonna be really hard because we're still gonna have one up there, right?
I don't know if I like just nose though. I would like to try and roll this way as much as we can.
Are we okay to lose the one? We could lose the one.
Interesting. They're not talking about peeling.
No, it's not bad. Like.
They are a little worried about that red at the corner of the forefoot.
Both of those. That's true. This one could cause us problems down the road, but I think if we can get rid of that one, force her to try to replace it, then maybe we can get a crack at those.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is when the end is over, we want to make sure that you have a shot.
If we clear one, she either has to choose to put it back up, right? Or come around here, at which point we can clear it. And now there's no guards up front.
Eventually she's got to still move us.
So is that a better option?
So then we're clearing the front and then we're going to deal with 2 red.
It's also
Make
not
sure-
a bad thing just to try and peel.
Make sure that you have a shot for your last one.
I think let's just worry about the one.
Final wise
Yeah.
words from Merv. Make sure you have a shot.
I don't like that red where it is.
Well, he said at the end of the end, I'm going, don't you want it before
Pretty
the end of the end, just to be particular, but
So I
think-
like the call on the peel personally.
Oh,
but
for sure.
I do understand their concern about that rock on the edge of the forefoot. You expect that at some point in the end, Stephanie Lawton might freeze one into the pocket knowing she can blast it later, but I don't think she's going to play that this early.
No.
Sometimes too, you look at the skill set of your team, and if your second is the stronger peeler than your third, that can factor into what call you're playing here, and Lorraine can certainly throw some big peel weight. I liked Merv's comment though about they still have to put it back, and if they don't do it perfectly, you'll have a chance at the double.
Yeah.
peel.
Yeah. Hard. Hard, guys, hard.
Well, after all that discussion, she hits that a little bit thick. Shooter will roll off to the side, but does stay for a corner guard.
And that should keep your intern draw path open if it ever comes down to that.
No, I like it.
Well, and after I said, I don't think Stephanie would play that this early. Here she goes.
I like here. Okay.
You just can't
I
call
like
them
it
quite
here.
right.
So same way?
Yeah, I kind of thought there might be another center guard.
Less. Just top
Steph
4.
says there's enough rocks in play here. Let's use them.
You know it, Christina.
Well, and even the way it sits right now, she wants to make sure she's got a shot on her last
Well, that's
one.
true.
Catch similar. Catch more.
Okay, lines close.
Back 4. It's running. Back 4. Starting to curl. Back
Stay
4.
close here.
Moving,
Still room.
Starting to curl.
Looking to freeze the corner of the yellow. She could easily put this in the pocket between the red yellow too, but this is going to have to curl just to get to the inside of the red. Well, really coming now.
That's good.
Well, that works.
Puts that in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Peel.
Try to peel into those reds.
I think you'd have to be
The only thing we
careful
don't
of
want to
peeling
do
into
is
that.
end up like that,
Exactly.
hey?
You could spill it back into the middle. I don't see any red one that you want to hit on the nose.
I kind of just like the straight peel.
We don't really have something super great.
Well, I'm not sure I'd be peeling it this direction. If she clips that red on the way by, she's going to push it right into the pocket.
Well, and this is where if you ever get the flash too, you're taking your own.
Whoa, just clean, 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 clean.
However,
clean,
if you just
clean
make it perfectly,
yeah,
as called, all good.
Makes the peel, and
Here comes your center guard replacement.
yeah, for Stephanie Lawton, she's got 2 ways into that pocket in the forefoot right now, so she can be content to throw guards here for a while and just let
Yeah, for sure.
Penny Barker play peels. She's always got the tap on her own, and right now she could play the out-turn draw straight to the face of that
yellow
at the back of the button, and she gets into that pocket. There's
I don't think there's too much of anything.
you'd need 2 shots to get it
Yeah.
out.
Stay close.
That's probably
Line's
going to
good. I
influence
like it for you.
Penny Barker at
Man.
some point in this end. She can't peel right down to the end.
No.
She won't have a shot with her last one.
Exactly right.
Yeah, then.
Line's good.
We're just a 3.
Okay, let it. It's got to finish a bit.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
And again,
Okay,
we
good.
see trouble judging the weight there. Even inside the hog line, they're saying just 3, and that rocks into the 12-foot.
This is just going to stay here. No.
It's been a little while since Steph Schmidt's thrown
We
a
wanna make sure if
guard or
anything
even
we're
a draw
trying
into
to
the
hit
rings
on
here.
it.
So I thought she had pretty good weight too, but
There might be a way to make the triple here.
I can't leave it there.
Well, they certainly don't like that
Yeah.
pocket either. They know.
She can.
So they're going to do some
Do you like a 9?
rearranging.
If she drives the first red back, hits the second one on the center line side yet, she can get all 3 reds moving. Might be able to get them all out. Wouldn't even mind if she clipped one of her own on the way by.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be
Move
some
that
weight
pocket
coming on
around
this
for
one.
Sure.
Just coming into the line, hey?
Trying to spill
A little more.
raised one, Lorraine, your way, okay?
Okay.
Deanna Doig with her first stone here in the 10th end. Looking to get a few red stones moving. They were on this one right away. Has she gone to a plan B here? I don't know if there's a good plan B available.
Well, it does move the pocket and that one off the back.
It's okay. I'll give you a bit less.
But now all of a
Yeah,
sudden, Stephanie
it's
Lawton at Shaw
Lawton
Rock.
sitting shot rock, and I
Yeah.
think those 2 reds are still lined up to the yellow at the back.
guard on that.
Yeah. Yep. Give you a bit.
Do you want the in or the out?
I like the same path, Steph.
Okay.
I guess by the token that you should still have the pin available for Penny Barker's last one, that it's still better than it was.
Yeah, exactly what you said. She does have a shot this way. She might not have had a shot had they not moved those around.
Exactly.
Two's good.
Okay, keep it clean. We've got
Felt
room
like
right
similar
now.
in my hand. What? Felt similar. Okay. We're just a two.
Line's
Just a
curling.
two.
We need, yep.
Just a two.
Yep. Hard.
Yes.
Hard.
They need this to
Yep.
She's got to finish up to cover that
closer
stone.
to center line.
Gotta get it there. Yes.
Easy. Good.
Good shot. A little long, but good shot.
Long's not the end of the world right
No,
now. It
right
keeps
now
Penny
it's
from
just
trying
fine.
to run it in.
Do you like moving this now?
I don't have a ton, but I have like a 8.
Well, I'm talking about just like back line weight. So that we can get shot rock. We sit here. Well, probably that.
Okay.
Fine to rip it. Keeps it open.
Well, we're a couple shots away with those reds, so I don't hate it.
I think we kind of have to do something.
I think, well,
I don't mind your call.
if it's gone, she's gonna have to replace it and eventually,
Yeah, but
like, I'm
This
either
is
gonna
my
have
last.
this or she comes there. Do you like the peel?
I'm fine either way. I don't mind your call. Your first one, though.
Yeah.
Play tight.
Okay.
I don't think they're 100% sold on what they want to play here, but they're gonna.
So they've opted for back line, wait, get past the guard, jiggle those red rocks around, and hope to be sitting shot at the end of it. Play it tight, meaning that they do touch the yellow or touch that red guard, but
Just back line.
got to make
I
sure
think
the
it's locked.
shooter rolled over
Back
them.
line.
Close. Yep.
As much as we talked about how they were going to have lots of time to start this end,
Close. Lorraine. Lorraine, go, go, go.
they're going to have
Go,
to
go,
make
go,
some
go,
quicker
go, go.
decisions to finish it up. They're down
Go,
under
go,
2
go.
minutes. They do still have a timeout left. Makes the little tap. Shooter comes across. So it is now the yellow stone at the back of the 4-foot that sits shot rock, but Stephanie Lawton still sitting
I think it's better
second
than
and third
one.
behind cover.
So is one.
But what was
They
nice
are.
result
They
for
are.
Deanna's shot with that long red guard that Stephanie Schmidt just
Yeah.
threw. I think there's
we have
even a
two.
way that if
Time out.
Please.
Penny even has to come around on the in-turn and just play off the red to bop in there. So that was a good outcome for Deanna,
Like he can even
but
play this
Stephanie's still saying, I've got a rock up front.
It doesn't matter. Do you like doing that, rolling? Those are both. So then what's she gonna do?
She's gonna draw.
She's gonna
She's
draw
gonna
to here,
draw.
and then we have this. Yeah.
We have
exactly.
this,
I
or we
think-
can draw and tap her and
Yeah.
be sitting there.
I like. Is it your first?
Do we
Like,
have to hit?
do we need
Other
to move
option,
it right now? Other option is like, do you throw a guard or do you?
Or
throw
do you
like,
come
or
to
do we
here?
come to here? Like,
Do you come?
I don't like right there. I guess you could go right
Yeah,
there.
I would
but
let
you
one
could go
right
here.
shot.
You know what, guys? I like getting rid of this. I think just
Okay.
make her like now she's looking at 3, right? Like
Yep.
just a
Do
little
whatever
more
you,
pressure.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
We all really like this stuff.
Just a hit and roll is fine. Normal
9-5.
weight there, and if it's hanging out, I'll give
Yeah.
you a good throw here.
This is a good spot for 9-5.
Well, they decide to make a play on the shot stone, and they're going to roll over onto that yellow on the other side of the broom. And I like the call, but for a reason that they didn't discuss, and that there's getting to be too many stoppers back there for Penny Barker if you do force her into something on the last one.
That's right, make it a cold draw versus
Yeah.
having any backing.
Well, Penny's still going to have to play something on her first one, likely going to draw. She might peel the guard, but if she draws, you can always follow it down, nudge it enough to be shot rock, and she might not have much left for the last one. You hate to leave her all these stoppers around the back, or right now this one actually could be,
Queen.
if she has an open hit, this one would be the
Little solid. Play the double.
could be the scoring point.
Let's make the double. Yep.
Hard.
Yep.
Makes the hit,
Good.
comes across, does kill the second one. That's not as important, but it keeps her rock well over to the side. Penny Barker's just going to peel the guard.
Have anything on the back one like I thought.
A little tighter. Yeah.
Sorry.
And I think, too, it might come into play that Stephanie Lawton did stay for third shot.
Yeah, that could be a factor. She's probably going to draw to the top of the forefoot with her next one, and then Penny Barker's not going to have any kind of a hit and roll and not much of a draw available. And she goes right by the guard. That's going to make the draw even a little tougher.
Time out.
Stephanie Lawton calling the timeout.
I like that, Stephanie. Yeah.
Yeah, you could think anywhere in here.
Yeah, you have a long range to deal with her. Yep.
Sorry, Steph. So, well, sorry. Can I, like, what's wrong with this? Is that too tight?
We don't need to be there.
I just don't
want to leave her a double or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's why up here is better.
Yeah.
Because we're never avoiding this.
No.
So,
yeah, I think that's sweet. I like it.
Okay. I need to stay out there.
Okay. Let's go, you guys.
Stephanie Lawton here, she can put this stone in the top 8 foot, just on the broom side of the center line.
We were thinking it's like 14,
All Penny Barker's going to have left is to try to hit and roll into the back of the forefoot, and it'll have to stop in time to still be shot rock.
Okay. Let us sweep it and anywhere in that range, and we'll put it there.
Okay. So I'll try to throw a 15 then.
I think that will be fine.
Okay. I will throw 15.
Yeah. Right at the broom here.
Okay, yeah.
Where are we? We're all there.
Stephanie looked like she was afraid it was a little
Okay,
strong.
we gotta go back. Can you go back? I want to try to let it stop. You want to let it stop? Okay, no. It looks
Line's
okay
nice.
from here, Brooke.
Curling a bit.
It's dying.
Curling.
You're biting 4. No, you're biting 8.
Easy,
Okay,
easy.
there for line, there for line, there for
Whoa.
line.
This one drastically overcurled the line that they had in mind, and again, they struggled with the weight call. It does give Penny the choice. She could play the draw if she wants, and that's what she's looking at.
Should run a little bit, and then it'll come off.
Yeah, and I think
She
if
was
they're
here,
on it,
hey?
they can carry it.
So I
That
think
one
right
jumping
there.
on them.
15.
Called the timeout, but just because they were getting a little
14 and a
tight for
half,
time.
Or
But
14,
the
7.
sweepers completely fooled there, thinking that they were T-line.
Not the first time we've seen that in this game, though.
Because actually it was nice weight by Stephanie. They just didn't get the line that they were expecting.
14 and a half.
So Penny Barker, the defending champion, came through the tiebreaker route last year. She's going to move on to the Page playoffs here tonight. She's going to have to be full forefoot with this draw.
Well, and after that miss on the peel, I think she's pretty happy, all things considered, to at least have this open draw. It's not easy by any stretch, but it is there.
All you, line's pretty good.
Line's really good.
Sweeper's really just giving it a clean early. Have to wait for it to curl a bit. Starting to curl now. Line looks like it should be good. It's just up to the brushers now to put this near the tee line. Penny Barker needs to stop full 4 to pick up the win, and she will stop full back 4. She picks up her single point, and she will move on to the Page playoff game tonight, eliminating Stephanie Lawton for the second year in a row. Kim Hudson has made her way down to ice level, and we're going to see if we can get a word with the winning skip here. Well, we had a fairly open game there, but boy, what a pile of rocks in play in end number 10. Comes down to a draw to the back of the forefoot for Penny Barker. And she will move on to the Page playoff game tonight. And she is with Kim Hudson. Kim?
Hey, Penny, what a great last shot. Well done. Any comments?
No, it's funny because before the game I kind of visualized that was my last shot. So I was just trying to say, okay, this is what I did in practice, and just calm down and throw the rock. And I knew the sweepers would take it there. I had to hold my breath for a little bit there, but it's too bad on my first one. But I figured I'd at least have some type of shot, whether it was the hit and roll into the 4-foot or the draw. So just had to stay calm and keep going.
Exactly, and you made it, so it was a very nice shot. Was the ice the same this game as it's been all week? Has it changed at all with one team?
It was really nice today. Last night was really the only time where I thought the ice was a little bit different, but no, it was beautiful. You couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Well, that's good to know. What's the game plan now going into tonight?
I think more of the same. It's just one shot at a time, and I think it was good for us to keep a little time on the clock just so that we could think about things a little bit more, especially when it gets to be more and more rocks in place. So seeing those angles and placing our rocks is going to be huge for the next one, and so on.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck tonight. Nice last shot.
And she will be back on the ice tonight. She plays Sherry Anderson in the 3-4 page game. The winner of that one will move on to the semifinal on at noon tomorrow. In the 1-2 game, which is the one that we will be featuring tonight, Robin Silvernagel will be playing Chantel Eberly. The loser of that drops to the semifinal, and the winner will move directly to the final tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. We want to thank everyone for joining us here this afternoon, and we'll be back for the playoffs tonight.